Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mount Carmel Area High School Silver Bowl, where tonight the Mount Carmel Area Red Tornadoes play host to their arch rival, the Shamokin Area Indians, in one of the most storied rivalries in high school football anywhere in the country. This is as good as it gets anywhere you're going to see football on a high school level. We've all been through it. Every time it gets better, it just keeps getting better. Today, you have everything you could look for in a rivalry, and we'll talk about all that stuff, but let's look at the big thing in this rivalry. The big difference for this rivalry this year, unlike any other year, is we're going to look across this field of that green carpet out there, and over there in that purple sideline are three of Mount Carmel's favorite sons. Of course, head coach Carm DeFrancesco, Joe Aronsfield, and, of course, Jazz Dimnick. Names we all know well, names that were coaching on this sideline at some points of their career, now find themselves over on the Indian sideline. And if that can't make an already unbelievable rivalry just a tick up a little better, I don't know what does, Wayne.
You know, we always talk about this each year, time and time again, year in, year out. You throw all the records out in this game. You know, everybody, this is a backyard rivalry, you know, knock your teeth out type deal. And, you know, this is no difference. And you are right. Coach DeFrancesco had a pep rally down there today and really had the whole school up in arms. I mean, it was just a good pep rally he had down there. He had all the kids all jacked up.
Well, Carmi, you know, a lot of things. He's a good coach. His record proves his coaching expertise. But one of the things Carmi is more than anything else is Carmi's a motivator. And he's going to have these guys motivated when they take the field tonight. Of course, the records, which as soon as I get done talking about them, we will throw them out as usual. Mount Carmel Area comes in here with a perfect 3-0 record. Their latest conquest, of course, the big game with the #1 ranked Class A Southern Columbia Area Tigers last week. Shamokin Area notching its first victory last night against the William Allen Canaries up in Allentown, from Allentown area. And, of course, 2 losses on that record. Their first game with Milton, and, of course, the second one they dropped to Montoursville, but have become a very, very good team over those 3 games. As a new coaching staff is in place now, they've gotten the jitters out of them. They kind of started to meld together, and they are a big team.
Well, when I talked to Coach DeFrancesco, that was one thing he had stated in the first game against Milton. All the kids were jacked up. They were really, really ready to play the first game for Coach, and towards the second quarter, they sort of went flat on him a little bit. The second game, they came out, and they were in that game with Montoursville. So, you know, this is a tough team you're going to play. They were in the game right down until the last 2 minutes on an intercepted pass, and Montoursville killed the ball. Shamokin was in on that game, 19-18 for the whole game. So, you know, we can't look past these guys. You know, if they come in here stormed up like they've been for the last 3-4 days down at school, they're going to sting you.
For the Shamokin Area Indians, number 31 is marking out John Nalowak, number 64, Michael Pennell, number 60, Brian Supsick, and number 47, Tony Treese for the captains. For, of course, the Shamokin Area Indians, of course, Booker, Shoppy, Lentini, and Veach for Mount Carmel Area as they shake hands at midfield. And, of course, one of the things that Jose was up here, and no one gets more excited and revved up for a rivalry like Jose does, but Jose mentioned something that I hear other people saying. For the first time in recent memory, the Shamokin Area Indians come into the Silver Bowl in an away game wearing all white. They traditionally wore their all-purple uniforms always when they played us. So it looks a little bit different to see them come out dressed in all white there with just the purple helmets. And we're wondering if that's a little bit of gamesmanship and a little bit of motivation over there in the sidelines by Coach DeFrancesco as he brings them into this hostile environment. The crowd, Wayne, is capacity. It is packed in this stadium. People are lining it around the fences. Mount Carmel area crowd still filtering in a little bit. But it is the Shamokin area. There's not any seats over there to be found. It is a big crowd. It's a raucous crowd, as always when we play Shamokin area. And, of course, down on that bench down there is the coal bucket sitting. And that's what it's all about. That's what this game is. It's the coal bucket game. Since 1951, these two schools have butted helmets. Did they wear helmets in 1951? Well, they butted heads if they didn't. But since that 1951 season, that coal bucket has been the symbol of excellence between these two teams, and the one that takes it home, lives
right.
with it.
It's the 50th anniversary for it. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Jose had told us that it's one of the longest trophies that have been going back and forth in the state.
Also, the longest continuous rivalry here. Since 1934, we have not missed a year playing each other. That's also a note here. We said we began playing in 1898,
and it was a tie the very first game.
So Mount Carmel area right now leading the series, but makes absolutely no difference whatsoever here as we line up. Mount Carmel area will kick off to the Shamokin area Indians. Number 12 deep is Matt Spears. Number 81 down there. Not 81. What is the number in the middle there? Can you tell?
31.
31. I'm sorry. I'm already in trouble now. It's Nalowak.
Yep.
And 26, I believe, over there is Bartkavich. Big number 6 lines them up and gets ready to kick off. Yasenchek boots it right down the middle, right into the middle of Nalowak. And he's going to come straight up the field to open up this rivalry and be brought down, smack down at the 20-yard line.
Lentini making the first hit. Number 37, Johnny Kerpridge getting up off that pile also. And number 29, Damian Buggy. Setting up the offense for Shamokin. Center, number 51, Josh Yost. 76, the right guard, Gene Welsh. And the left guard, Dave Wetzel, number 72.
Romanowski brings him up, and he's going to start his first play of the game with a full backfield. Hands off to Nalowak deep in that eye. Nalowak pops over the 20 up to the 26-yard line. A quick gain of about 6 yards on the play for big number 31, Nalowak. And he's the featured runner. He's the guy we'll see carry the ball the most for the Indians, just as Veach is for us.
He did a very good job last week against William Allen and kept them in the game. And the quarterback there, Romanowski, had a good game passing also. Finishing up the offense, number 71, Jason Shinsky, right tackle. Number 64, left tackle, Mike Pinnell. The split end, number 12, Matt Spears. The tight end, number 82, Andy Kopp, 6'6", 290 pounds. He's a junior. Quarterback, Ryan Romanowski. 47, Tony Treese, the fullback. Running back, 31, John Nalowak. And the slot back, number 26, Chad Bartkavich.
And up once again to Nalowak. Nalowak is going to be stopped, and he dropped the ball. The ball is down, and Nalowak is hurt. I'm not sure what happened there. Nalowak twisted, and he is down. You could see him lose the ball. It popped right out of his hand as he twisted. He's getting up, and it looked like he just got twisted really funny there, but you cannot afford to lose Nalowak this early in the game. Big John now, and he is hurting. I mean, there's no two ways about what happened here. He's down in the field, and he's in pain, and that is not a good sign for Coach DeFrancesco as he runs out on the field actually with the trainers here to take a look and see what's wrong with John.
I don't know whether it was a bad handoff and he was trying to reach for the ball and he got caught.
Well, he hit into the line there, and he got stood up, and then he got turned a little bit, and then somebody hit him again, and you could see that he was in pain as he was turning, and that's why the ball dropped by. Hopefully that's not going to be a big problem for him. It's 3rd down and 3 for the Indians.
Okay, setting up the defense for the Tornadoes. Nose guard, number 31, Brown. The 2 guards, number 54, Swank, and number 50, Booker. The 2 defensive ends, number 40, Ziegler, number 69, Cuff. The 2 linebackers, number 21, Matsur, number 6, Vinci Yasenchak. The cornerbacks, number 85, Dillo, number 2, Kalia. The strong safety, number 26, Lentini, and of course, number 25, the free safety, John Veach.
A good sign there as we watched Nalowak jumped up finally and ran off the field, and that's a good sign for both he and the Indians as he is an integral part of this offensive scheme here tonight.
He's a tough player.
You had Bartkavich and big number 47, Treese now in the backfield in a split backfield, and Romanowski goes back to pass. He's under trouble almost immediately. Now chasing out of the pocket and looking, and he's going to go down along the sidelines at the 26-yard line. He'll lose some yardage. It's going to bring up a 4th down and a punting situation for the Indians. It looks like it'll become 4th down and 5 now. So the first punt of the game by the Indians as Big Red's defense stops them on their first offensive series.
Yeah, he had Matt Spears out on the coverage, but John Veach and Justin Dillo had good coverage back out deep.
Number 82, and you know, there's no way you play a Shamokin area Indian game without seeing somebody built like number 82. I'm not sure where they get like that one guy, but he's back to punt. If he catches all of it, it's probably going to end somewhere in cult mount. So I'm just wondering. He is one load of a guy, and he did. He kicked it right to nobody there. As Clea now jumps over and gets it. Clea comes up the sideline. Clea's got a seam, and he's got a block. Clea, ladies and gentlemen, is going to return this for a touchdown. He will return the first Shamokin punt for a Mount Carmel area touchdown, and just like that, at the 10-minute and 6-second mark of the first quarter, it is Mount Carmel area 6, the Indians 0.
I'll tell you what, Andy Kopp put all of his foot into that one and got over Clea's head and Veach's head. The ball dropped, and both of them were standing there looking who was going to pick the ball up. But what more can you say about that picket fence that was set up right in front of the bench there? There was absolutely...
Oh, watch it. You can see it on the replay coming in.
Yeah.
Take a look at the line of blocking, and take a look when actually Yasenchak could tell all the way back there when he was free. There was just no one that had an angle, and no one can catch him.
And the thing of it was, Ziegler was down on about the 25-yard line with nobody there. He was actually protecting Clea as he was running by him.
So Mount Carmel area misses the extra point attempt, and our woes continue in the extra point department. But it is now Mount Carmel area 6 and the Indians 0, with Mount Carmel area lining up to kick off. And a quick score like that, of course, a Mount Carmel area tradition. The big run back always that gets the team motivated. So Clea really showed the speed. A lot of people don't realize how fast that young man is, and we've seen flashes of it, but he hasn't gotten all the way through. And that time you saw, give him a footstep to get around you, and he's pretty much going to be gone. So,
well, you know, he runs such tight patterns out onto the flat. We haven't seen much deep to him at all, but he's running those little curl patterns and coming back, and he's tackled right away. But we saw what he did last week in the opening kickoff against Southern Area. He returned it about 30 yards back to about the 49-yard line on the Southern Area side. So, you know, he's capable of doing exactly what he did and breaking one open.
Number 9 now in deep formation, and he's going to leave there. We're going to send back number 47, Tony Treese, and he's taking the injured back's place there as Yasenchak kicks it off, and he's going to kick it off
to number 12,
Matt
Spears.
And Matt Spears comes up, and he's again stops dead right at the 25-yard line now, where the Shamokin Indians will take over 1st and 10. And of course, Nalowak was the guy not in there, and we're waiting to see, and we'll keep you posted. He did not come into the lineup. You see the kickoff, the kickoff is Spears, and you can see Spears met by a host of Mount Carmel area tacklers there. I used that host word again, my football cliche thing there.
But they have to take Tony Treese back to the back. He's their blocking fullback, so he has some experience running the ball.
Split backfield again with Treese and Bartkavich back there now as Romanowski hands it a big guy Treese, and Treese is going nowhere. He'll lose 2 or 3 yards on the play. Getting off the top of that pile, you got Cuff, but big 55 Schaffler really was the guy that manhandled that whole play and made a mess out of it. So the Indians will lose a couple of yards. It'll bring up a 2nd down and a long 11, almost 12 for the 1st down.
That's number 55, Shoppy. Dave Shoppy.
What did I say?
Schaffler.
Shoppy. I keep Schaffler this week, I'm telling you. Just getting old is really going to be ugly. The lone back in the backfield is Bartkavich as Romanowski brings him up and puts the big guy in motion, Nalowak, and now goes back to pass. Again, under a heavy rush. This time he has some room, but he's brought down hard by Yasenchak right at the 26-yard line. Gain of only of about a yard on the play. It'll bring up 2 yards on the play. I'll bring up a 3rd down now and 9 for the Indians. And he is under pressure passing. Romanowski, we understand, is a good quarterback, and he's a guy that can wing the ball, but he will need to get better protection than that if he expects to do any damage tonight. Right now, the defensive line for the Tornadoes is pretty much handling the line from the Indians. Split backfield once again, and that's the backfield they've used since they lost Nalowak. Going to have an offside here as we're going to throw a screen pass to Treese.
I think we got caught in the zone there. Trying to blitz a little bit, and it would have worked. We did put enough of pressure on Romanowski there getting through. I think it was Yasenchak that had gotten through. He split the seam.
I said Nalowak a little while ago. Treese and Barkavich,
both.
they're the two guys in the backfield right now for the Indians, and that's what has changed them a little bit without
See,
number 31 in there.
Yeah, Treese is their blocking fullback in front of Nalowak, number 31, and Chad Barkavich, number 26, is their slot man. So what they're doing now is they bring Barkavich back, and now they have Treese as their running back. There was motion on that play there. We did not get in the zone at all. There was motion against Shamokin. So that brings up a 4th and about 5.
4th down as we decline the penalty that time. And the Indians are forced to kick. And, of course, the big guy, 82, Coppin, his last kick was a dandy kick, but the end result was not what he had hoped. Once again, Veach and Clea back deep for the Tornadoes. Look at the size of this punter. You're not going to see a guy this big punting very often in your lifetime. And he got it blocked. Ziegler blocked it. Number 12 has the ball, and that's Spears. And Spears does not get back to the original line of scrimmage. And Mount Carmel area will take over 1st and 10 at the inside the Indian 25-yard line. As not a lot of good things are happening to the Indians right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ziegler came flying through, and I guess it was Treese over there had blocked him. And Ziegler was down on the ground, and he stuck his hand out and blocked that ball. That was an amazing play.
First offensive play now for the Red Tornadoes here in the ball game as Shinsky brings them up. He's got Ziegler and Veach in the backfield, of course. And we will pass, and he looks for the big guy, Yasenchak, who was lined up at the tight end. It's incomplete down near the 20-yard line, so the Big Red opens up with a pass play here. There's 7 minutes and 52 seconds remaining here in the first quarter of play.
So you're just trying to keep the defense a little honest there. You know, every week in and week out, everybody's going to come in and they're going to be keying on John Veach. And what you're doing is you're trying to get those linebackers to back up, sit on their heels a little bit more, and, it loosens up on your offensive line.
That's a different formation there as we pitch back to Veach, and Veach is going to be brought down right away by number 19. That's Dustin Martin, who held his ground actually there and stopped that play dead as Veach will lose yardage on the play. It's going to bring up a 3rd down now and about 13 for the 1st down as that was a well-defensive. We lined up in a formation we have not seen very much of up until that moment, but apparently the Indians have. So we have to rethink that formation a little bit here.
Now they're coming in with 2. Gig Thomas, number 55, left linebacker, and the right linebacker, Tony Treese. 2 probably the best linebackers in the region.
Shinsky's back to pass again. A penalty flag goes down immediately. He has Clea, and Clea's inside the 20-yard line down to the 17 or 16-yard line where they finally mark it down. But we will see where that penalty, it was thrown by the side judge here, and that usually means trouble for the offense.
Yeah, he's pointing that way.
They're going to talk about it. Of course, Mount Carmel area had a tremendous football game last week. They were clicking on all cylinders on the offensive side of the ball. What they were not able to do, and this is what you're seeing it again early in this game, is their offensive management, I would say. Penalties, trouble getting the plays in and out, delay a game kind of stuff. Now, Coach Brennan, I know, was seriously concerned about that, and what had happened to us on offense, although the actual execution, and when you run that many yards up and you do that kind of damage to a defense like Southern's, obviously you can't complain much. But those things occasionally will come back to haunt you, and sooner or later may end up biting you. And I know that he's concerned about that, and we have not shown ourselves to be real crisp here in the first offensive series, as now it is 3rd and 19 for the Red Tornadoes. Shinsky goes back to pass, and there's a blitz. He looks downfield. It's a floater, and it's going to go down. It's split. We split it, actually. We had the number 21 match Sura, and we had Clea, and he got in between them. I'm not sure. They were both turned in the opposite direction.
Yeah,
so
I think it sort of looked like they were flag patterns. So they were supposed to be cutting out to the outside, which the 2 of them were. And I'll tell you what, Josh Clea was open coming out to the outside here.
So it brings up 4th and 19. Mount Carmel will not punt the ball. The ball's sitting at the Indian 33-yard line. And we'll see what we come up with here on the big 4th down play. Shinsky brings him up. He leaves only Ziegler in the backfield, and he has Veach. And he's going to look in Veach's direction. He's going to let it fly, and Veach is down there, all the way down there. And Veach has caught it for a touchdown, ladies and gentlemen. John Veach caught it for the touchdown, just like that. He was heavily covered down there by number 23 from the Indians, Christian. And look at the replay coming up. and number 15, of course, Romanowski, and he got past both of them and caught a perfect pass from Shinsky, and just like that, he's in the end zone. Watch the replay coming up. You'll see that he's nearly tackled. He lets it go just in time, and there's Veach. He got behind both of those guys. It was a perfect pass, and 6 points on the board. Mount Carmel area 12, and the Indians nothing right now, as we are going to go for 2, it looks like.
Yeah, Dave Shinsky stood his ground. We had number 65, Scott Anderson, 5'11", 205 senior coming in from Shamokin, and as soon as he released it, Dave was hit.
Handed off to Veach, and Veach is going up the middle, and he's not going to make it. He's going to be stopped about the 5-yard line, and the 2-point conversion play will also fail. And with that, the score will remain Mount Carmel area Red Tornadoes 12, the Shamokin Indians 0 at the 6:46 mark of the first quarter. So the Indians, Wayne, cannot be happy about the things that have turned out here in the first real quick 5 minutes of the game, as they've been snake bitten. I want to say about Ziegler and blocking that punt from the big guy.
Right.
There's no way you're not going to tell me that thing hurt like heck when he hit that thing. Can you imagine the power coming off that big guy's foot as it hit his hand? I tell you what, you're not going to tell me that's not still stinging there for a little bit.
You know, but the thing is, you know, you look at the Shamokin defense in that series, had a very good defensive series. You know, they had us back at, 4th and 15, and actually put pressure on Dave. He just left to go. It was a good pass. John ran a pattern, got behind the defenders, and he scored a touchdown. So, they're playing a good game, but there's just those few little quirks that they have to tighten up on.
So Yasenchak's going to tee it up and kick it off here. You had Barkavich and Treese back there, and number 26 back there. I'm sorry, Barkavich and Treese, and I keep getting 12 missing there. Spears, I'm sorry, I keep missing him back there. It's going to go to Spears. He picks it up at the 5-yard line, comes right up the middle, and he's brought down about the 24-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Romanowski and his crew as he brings them out for their next offensive series.
Lentini in on that tackle again. Lentini has been, since his career started, I can remember, 2-3 years ago where we'd mention his name every time there was a kickoff, every time there was a punt. Lentini would be in making a tackle.
So Romanowski comes in. Unfortunately for the Indians, Nalowak has not re-entered the game yet. And that is still a serious problem, as he has Treese and Barkavich in there, and he's going to get it to Barkavich, and Barkavich is going down behind the line of scrimmage for a big loss. Number 36 also in that backfield now for the Indians, and that's Mark Palash. Palash is as if he's French. But he'll be polished tonight for us because he's from Shamokin. But brings up a 2nd down now and 14, as 4 yards lost on that play. Now he's got Treese lined up in that tailback position with Barkavich in front of him. And he's going to go back to pass. He's chased by 69 Cuffin, and Yasenchak was covering number 36, Polish, and Yasenchak did an excellent job there reaching around there and popping the ball down, as that was the play that Mount Carmel area looked like they knew right away what it was going to be.
Yeah, and all it was just a fake. It was a fake to Treese. Polish was the blocking man. He got out. It looked like it was supposed to be a short screen out into the flat. He had enough of blockers out there, but Yasenchak really played that well and came over the top to knock the ball out.
So a big 3rd and 14 now for the Indians. We leave one guy in the backfield. That's Barkavich. Everybody else is out in a passing formation, as Romanowski's going to drop back. And he does not. He hands it right to number 36, Polish. Polish is stopped immediately on the play by 69 Cuff, with help from number 21 in there on the Red Tornado defense, Matsura. So once again, the Indians are in a punt formation with big number 82, Kopp, going back for the punt. The Indians are not able to do much on offense, and I do not know how much the loss of Nalowak is hurting them.
It has to be, because it shifts your whole offensive scheme around, because now you're taking your blocking fullback and you're putting him in as your running back.
This time we do not rush the big guy, and he gets a liner that could hurt you if you caught it. They're going to let it just go down dead there, and they do. It's downed in there by number 20, for the Shamokin area Indians, and that's Matt Filarski, where Mount Carmel will take over 1st and 10 on their own 34-yard line.
Again, I really do believe that Nalowak is a big loss right at this point for Shamokin. Plus, you take him out at John Nalowak is their strong safety back there also on defense. So you lose them both on offense and defense now.
Shinsky goes back to pass. He's going to flare it out, and he threw it. He was threatening to Veach, but number 65 for the Indians. He never saw Scott Anderson. Anderson puts it into the end zone as he intercepts a Shinsky pass and takes it into the end zone with the score now, Mount Carmel area 12, the Shamokin area Indians 6, and just like that, the Indians strike. Shinsky never saw him covered, never saw him coming. Threw it right into his arms and no way to stop him as the touchdown now. The Indians will line up for the extra point. Number 1, Kenneth Pfeiffer will be the kicker. And we understand he's a good one, Wayne.
Oh yeah, he's been there. He's been there for a couple of years now, and gone through the Chicatano era, and really has practiced.
He's going to miss it.
Yeah,
he kicked it wide to the right, and that's what you seldom see a soccer-style kicker kick it the other way wide. It's usually they hook it, but he got it wide right that time. So the score will remain Mount Carmel area 12, the Shamokin area Indians 6 at the 5:02 mark of the first quarter. And lightning can certainly strike pretty fast. Here's the replay, and you can see that you can see 65 Anderson was right standing there waiting for the ball to come by, and he never broke stride, and boom, he was there.
There was pressure over there, is either coming from number 19, Dustin Martin, or was from number 36, Mark Polish, on Dave Shinsky, and I think that's why he released the ball. There was some good. There was only one other person out on the pattern that time, on the pass pattern, out into the flat, and he was covered, and that was the reason why he was going to John Veach as a relief valve.
Kopp will do the kickoff duties. Clea, Pilarski, and Veach back deep for the Red Tornadoes. Pilarski, number 42, in the middle of that formation as the big man whacks it. It's going to go to Clea here, and Clea's going to pick and choose a little bit, and going to try to cut up the middle now as the Indians have him well covered at the Mount Carmel area 29-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, you see the sidelines over there for the Shamokin Indians there. I mean, that was just certainly a shot in the arm. And we know that's one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to put the tide over there that
Shinsky will bring him up. Ziegler in front of Veach in that normal formation, and we hand it to Veach. Veach cuts right up the middle. Veach goes up to about the 34-yard line. Gain of about 5 on a play. They'll bring it up 2nd down and 5 for the Red Tornadoes. Pinnell on the stop for the Indians, along with Treese. Brown, 31, into the lineup for the Red Tornadoes as Matsura, 21, runs off. So we're going to have some beef in the backfield as Brown and Ziegler now come in that formation we saw the first time, only this time over to the right side. And the Indians again have that well defense as Veach brings it up to about the 35-yard line, just over for a gain of 2. It'll bring up a 3rd down and a very long 3.
Number 55,
3rd down and 4, in fact.
55, Gig Thomas in on that tackle. And again, you're noticing wherever Veach goes, there's about 4 guys following him. I mean, they have a swarming defense here, and we need to, at this point, make sure we hit all the blocks.
Third down and 4 for the Red Tornadoes. Shinsky in shotgun formation. He's got Ziegler standing next to him. Ziegler's going to pick up the blocking back. He hits Veach over there for the 1st down. Up at the 40. I'm sorry, he dropped it. It's incomplete. The coverage on the play was by number 9, Weiland. And the Tornadoes will be forced to punt here as it becomes now 4th and 4 with the ball sitting on the Mount Carmel area 35-yard line.
Now, one thing this whole episode did was it gave Shamokin a little bit of breathing room. That whole first quarter there, they were down inside the 20, 25 yard, their own 25-yard line, and could barely even move.
Barkavich and Spears back there. The ball's going to hit and bounce out of bounds at about the 43-yard line of the Indians. Good field position for the Indians that they'll start 1st and 10.
Yeah, you're talking good, good field position, and if they pick up a first down here or there, they always know they have number Andy Kopp to come back to, and you're talking about 82, putting it down there on the goal line, and pitting us back again.
Romanowski will bring him up here. He'll have Treese in the backfield along with Barkavich there. No, I'm sorry, it's not Barkavich. Barkavich is split out here. It's going to be
Mark Polish.
Polish with Romanowski, and Romanowski is buried in there by number 31, Brown, and Cuff really put the punishing hit on him. A big loss for the Indians as Romanowski goes down all the way at his 32-yard line. The replay will be coming up here, ladies and gentlemen. Watch this, and you're going to see heavy pressure coming in from his left side. He runs right into it. There was nowhere to go. Brown and Cuff just sandwiched them. Brings up a 2nd down and 20, as that was a 10-yard loss.
And it's that defensive line, the center of that defensive line. They're so quick. We've seen that in the first 3 games already.
This time Christian in the backfield along with Barkavich. The pass play, Romanowski looking downfield. Plenty of time this time, and he throws it right at number 21, Matsura, who can't hang on to it. So it falls incomplete. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 20, and that time he should not have thrown that one. That was in a bigger crowd as you could throw it there.
What happened was Spears went down and hooked into the center, and that brought the cornerback over Lentini and Veach. But also Matsura had then, as soon as he saw that he was going to pass, had dropped back into the zone also. And I don't think Romanowski had seen Matsura drop back that quick.
Barkavich and Christian in the backfield now. Romanowski drops back to pass again. Again, pressure. He throws it right in the middle to number 36, and that's Polish. Polish will not have enough for the first down. In fact, he does not get back to the original line of scrimmage. The ball sitting at the Indian 38-yard line, where once again Kopp will go back in punt formation, and Kopp's getting a workout in punt formation so far here in the first quarter. 2 minutes and 19 seconds left here in the quarter.
Again, there's Ziegler. Every week in and week out, how many times he's close to that ball, close to blocking it. He got one that time.
This time he gets off a high one, and I mean a high one. They're going to let it bounce, and it takes an Indian bounce, and it continues to bounce. It'll bounce all the way down inside the Mount Carmel area 20, down at the 18-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Red Tornadoes. That one, he couldn't have got that one any higher if he tried.
Kick. That's what you want. That's what Andy needed. He needed to get it up high enough that they had the coverage going down underneath it. There was no return on that. And, of course, the Tornadoes start now at the 19-yard line. Again, change in field position over the last few exchanges here.
Loshinsky will bring him up. He's going to bring Clea out to the left. He fakes it to
gives it to Ziegler.
Veach, but if Ziegler on a quick opener, and Ziegler brings it up, and Ziegler's going to pop out about 4 yards on the play. He'll bring up a 2nd down and 6.
Number 55, Gig Thomas in on that tackle. Number 64, Mike Pennell. Big Papa, as he's called down at.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Mike, number 64.
So Big Red wants to move the ball a little bit here to get some field position. They don't want to be punting from down here. They go back into the huddle, and now time will become crucial to get that snap off as they have Brown and Ziegler in the backfield, and they move Yasenchak over to the left side. Give it to Veach the opposite way. Veach breaks the opposite way and comes out to the Mount Carmel area 28-yard line, and it's very close to the first down. We'll see where they park it.
It's funny how teams now are starting to line up, and you know, they're going towards the power on that side, going to the right. They're overloading their defense, and what's happening is it's creating a natural hole on the left-hand side. All you need is a couple good blocks on the lineman like we had there, and, you know, John Veach is picking up 5, 6, 7 yards.
It's going to bring a third down, and it's going to also mean they're going to measure it. I was wondering why they weren't doing that. It is close. I'm not sure if he has it, but it's very close as they bring the sticks out to take a look at it. And he's going to be just short of it, about a half a yard short of the first down. So it'll bring third down and a half yard. Ball sitting just about the 28-yard line of the Red Tornadoes.
Again, mixing the plays up. They had to get out of the hole here a little bit to get a little bit of breathing room, get back into the playbook and run some of the plays that they wanted. And the first play was an excellent call with Ziegler carrying the ball, picking up 6 yards.
The big full house backfield now with the two lugs in the front and Veach in the back. But we hand it to Veach, and Veach is going to cut it up, and Veach will, I believe, where they place it, have the first down. I believe he got up where he puts his foot at. We'll see in a minute, but I think it's enough. The Indians are saying no, but I believe it's going to be. With my eagle eye, Wayne.
You have a hard time calling it when you have a 15-foot pole sticking up in the air.
Basically, I don't have a clue, to tell you the truth, but they're going to measure it, so we'll wait and see what they come up with. If we give us a chance, folks, to remind you that this is WKMC-TV, broadcasting directly from the campus at Mount Carmel Area High School. We are an instructional fixed television service. You catch us every Wednesday night of the football season at 8 o'clock on Channel 13, courtesy of the Service Electric Cable Systems. We want to thank those folks all the time for the help and assistance they provide us. It is not going to be a first down. It's now a fourth down and a couple of inches. And Coach Brennan, who was a little bit of a gambler last week, but I don't know if he wants to gamble this far down. He's thinking about it. And he's going to wait. What he's doing is the quarter is going to end. So he has some time to talk to his quarterback as the quarter looks like it's going to run out before the time clock does. And we're going to switch ends of the field here in a moment, 6 seconds and counting down. So we'll see what this fourth down and inch play deep in their own territory at the 30 or the 28-yard line brings for the Red Tornadoes. That's the end of the first quarter, ladies and gentlemen, with the score: Mount Carmel Area Red Tornadoes 6, the Shamokin Area 12, the Shamokin Area Indians 6. And we will be right back after these messages from our fine sponsors. We come back here from the quarter break and we look and see that the Indians are sitting down there, sliding up that defense. There is about 3 inches to go for a first down. It is fourth down, and the Red Tornadoes have elected to go for it in the biggest gamble of Coach Brennan's career here at Mount Carmel Area.
Goal line stance.
They go with a quarterback sneak, and depend where he puts it, to tell you the truth. And he does not look like he got it where he set the ball down, Wayne. It does not look like he got it.
Tell you, it was a good goal line defense. They put 6 guys up on the line. They brought the 2 linebackers up inside. So you really needed a good line surge on the offensive side to pick up that first down.
So I assume we're going to measure this again.
Yep.
As we're trying to get the chain picked up there. And see what happens here is the big guy, the quarterback, Shinsky, tried to sneak it over for the couple of inches, but it was real tight. I'll be truthful with you, it was real tight. And for some reason, it was almost impossible to get the chains out here. I mean, I must have nailed him down to the other side of the sideline.
They just put them in. That's the reason why.
Just didn't want to come out here and measure that thing. I was starting to get worried for a second as they placed the chain down, and it is...
They stopped
them. They stopped them, ladies and gentlemen. That is a stunning defensive play by the Shamokin Area Indians as the Tornadoes turn the ball over inside their own 30-yard line at the 28, where the Indians will set up first down and 10 in fabulous field position as the gamble didn't work this time. And it's up to the Big Red defense now to see what they can do as Romanowski trots onto the field.
Well, I guess coach is sort of figuring he's got to rely now on his defense to keep Shamokin here, within the 20 to 30-yard line.
Got a full house backfield in front of him as Romanowski lines them up. going to hand off to number 26. That's Barkavich, and he gets some yardage up the right side of the left side of the Mount Carmel area line. And it's going to go inside the 25-yard line down to the 24. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 5 for the Indians.
Some good blocking over on the left-hand side there with Matt Purnell, number 64, and Dave Wetzel, number 62, the Shamokin line. Wetzel carrying the ball on just about on a naked run there, naked handoff. He had nobody in front of him blocking.
This time polishes the line, and get that name wrong 100 times now. The lone back for the Indians as Romanowski goes back to pass. And he hits Clea. He was aiming for number 12 down there, Spears, but Clea in great position and got in between it there and almost intercepted it.
Yeah, him and Lentini. Lentini had tipped the ball up in the air a little bit. I think Josh had a dead beat on that ball as it was coming through, and all of a sudden the ball goes up in the air, and he sort of lost sight of it.
So it brings up 3rd down and 5 now for the Indians. This is 2-down territory, of course. They're not punting down here, so 2 downs to make 5 here for the Indians, and we'll see what Coach DeFrancesco has up his sleeve down here as Romanowski brings them out. He's got Treese and Polish in the backfield. This time he kind of gets Treese back into that tailback position, who then drops the ball. He recovers it, but he recovers it back at the 28-yard line or so. So a loss on the play now brings up 4th down for the Red Tornado, or for the Indians. And it's going to be 4th and about 10.
They had a good line surge there for Shamokin. And I think what happened was Treese was sort of looking downfield already. He was sort of looking and not watching to get the ball right away.
Yeah, he never got the handoff right. He never was holding it right the whole time.
You could see his head moving a little bit. Now we bring in, and I would assume this is going to be some type of a receiving crew here. We have a lot of, we're going to
kick a field goal, folks. Number 1, Pfeiffer is going to kick a field goal. They're going to call a timeout. They ran out of time. They couldn't get it set up, and I'm not sure it was their fault. The Indians made that call on the sidelines very late into the game clock, a decision to try to kick the field goal. And how far of a field goal is he trying to kick, Wayne?
He's kicking it from the 35-yard line, so you're talking a 45-yard kick. Number 9 comes in to hold the ball for him. That's Chris Weiland.
This will be interesting. We don't normally see field goal attempts from this far out in high school.
Well, this is number 9, Chris Weiland. He is senior, and he's also another quarterback. So if that's any clue to maybe what might be going on here,
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, it could be a fake, could be a lot of things in a game like this. Every play you have in the playbook, sooner or later, pops out and gets used. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think it's going to be interesting to watch this field goal attempt if that's indeed what he goes ahead and does. Coach Carm is in that timeout huddle now having a long conversation about it. Of course, the Indians, Carm remembers these games on Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
When they were played up until 1973 in that Thanksgiving Classic. Of course, all kinds of changes occurring to prevent a Thanksgiving Day game from happening anymore. But was a traditional game and what really added to this rivalry. We now decide not to kick a field goal as Romanowski brings them up. And he's got number 36, Polish, as the lone back in the backfield. He goes back to pass, and he's looking down the middle, and he had Spears, and it got over. It was over Spears right through his hands at the 5-yard line. But he had an angle there on the pass. A nice pass by Romanowski, but it goes incomplete, and they will turn it over.
Great pass. Great protection for Romanowski by the Shamokin line. Gave Romanowski enough time to watch as Spears was cutting across the center, and he was open on that play. He catches that ball. That would have been a touchdown.
So the Red Tornadoes dodged the proverbial bullet on that one as they gambled and turned the ball over, but the Indians were not able to capitalize. So they take over 1st and 10, and we'll see what the Tornadoes decide to do here now. And we're going to decide to pass. He has all kinds of time, although now he's being caught. And he's going to go down about the 20, almost the 30-yard line. He's actually going to pick some yardage up as he stepped forward out of the pocket. He's going to bring up a 2nd down and 9, and there were just absolutely no receivers open on that play.
Gig Thomas, number 55, the left linebacker, taking him down along with Mike Pennell, number 64.
Now the Indians are basically daring us to run or to throw. They're crowding the line of scrimmage. They're keying on Veach. They're doing a lot of the things we thought they would, but they must be leaving some passing lanes open here to be able to do that, and that's what we're trying to do. As Shinsky goes back, and now he hands off to Veach. Veach comes over to 30, up to about the 33-yard line. Gain of about 3 yards. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 6 for the Tornadoes.
Tony Treese not faked at all on that one. He just stayed back in his linebacker position. Of course, he goes back to pass, and he is supposed to move out into the flat a little bit, and of course moved right into the lane where John was running.
9:16 remaining here in the first quarter. Or the second quarter, I'm sorry. Shinsky again looking to pass all kinds of time, and this time he has Matsura, and he had actually Matsura and Veach both free, but Matsura catches it and gets it down inside Indian territory, all the way down at the Indian 45-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Big Red, and that's what we were talking about. Although that time he actually could have chose 2 guys. Only 1 guy was defending, and that was number 9, Weiland, and he had to figure that maybe the troops let him down a little bit there because.
Well, I'll tell you what.
You see the replay, and watch where the 2 guys that we have down there. There you can see both of them. Both of them are pretty well open there, although Weiland was far back. He's playing a pretty deep center field.
He's a free safety. He's playing their free safety position because Nalowak is back in that strong safety position, and they have Romanowski now in his.
This time Veach, and Veach is going to be brought down, and that time it's big number 55 once again for the Indians, and that's Thomas, and he's a defensive presence for the Indians here in this football game.
Yeah, between him and Tony Treese, we were told that they're 2 of the best linebackers that they've seen in a while for Shamokin, and of course they're proving it. Gig Thomas is, in on just about every tackle now at this point.
Brings up a 2nd down and 10 now. No gain on the play for the Red Tornadoes. And Shinsky goes back to pass, and he looks over at Matsura once again. Matsura has it, and he'll take it down across the 35-yard line down to the 33-yard line of the Indians, where once again it is another 1st down. And Shinsky has all the time in the world right now to pass the ball, and that's why he's being so accurate. It's really easy to do that. Well, I shouldn't say easy, but it's a lot easier to do it when nobody's hanging on you, and he's getting great protection from that front line.
Yeah, what we're doing is we're clearing out a zone. Clay is clearing out, and we have Matsura coming back. Here we have trips to the right-hand side again, and I don't think Shamokin defended it that well.
Ziegler goes up the middle. He'll gain about 2 yards on the play. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 8. Ball will be placed down. We'll see where they place it down. It may not even be that much of a gain.
Yeah, Mike Purnell, Big Papa, number 47, Tony Treese in on the tackle.
So it's gained only a yard on the play, so it's 2nd down and 9 now for the Red Tornadoes. And the Indian defense is tough in the middle.
Yeah.
We are not able to do anything up the middle running with those guys right now. Shinsky back to pass. He's looking, he sees Clea. He hits Clea, but Clea was diving that time for the ball and wasn't able to hold on to it. So it'll bring up a 3rd down and 9 for the Red Tornadoes from the Indian 33-yard line.
Again, what's given Dave the time is he's rolling a little bit. And he's got that blocker out. You got Ziegler out in front blocking for you. And Ziegler waits until the very last minute to take the defensive end on. And that gives Dave enough time to step up inside a little bit as he rolls either to the right or to the left.
Shinsky will bring him up. The Indians have effectively stopped the potent Mount Carmel running game, at least now. And Shinsky's going to go back to pass again. This time he's blitzed, but he's got Clea, but he just was too long for Clea at the sideline there, down around the 21-yard line, but he couldn't get it to Clea as a heavy blitz came from the Indian defense and put a rush on him. Brings up 4th and 9 now for the Red Tornadoes, and we'll see what Coach Brennan has in store.
So I'm going to tell you, take a look over on the right-hand side. Matsura is over on the right. That's the 2nd pass pattern he ran, and he's a couple of yards behind the defender. I think number I don't know who's over there in their cornerback position, but Matsura is running some nice patterns over there, and he's been open the last 2 times. I guess Dave can't see everybody, but.
Well, hard that time as the Indians brought everybody in on that rush. I expect they may do that again here.
There it is. Look at.
He's got Matsura, and there's a penalty flag down. I believe it's defensive, but it could go either way depending on what he saw there. And it may go offensively, I'm not sure.
Could have been pushing off.
It is. It's an offensive penalty against the Red Tornadoes, so it'll nullify the play, and the Red Tornadoes will march back. It'll bring up now a 4th down, and we'll see how much when they get done marking this penalty off. But it's going to go against the offense, offensive pushing. That's a tough call to make, but there was some shoving between the two of them going on down there. So a big play nullified, and we'll see what Coach Brennan wants to do here now as he sends in 4 new guys into the huddle. Ball's going to be placed all the way back at the Shamokin Indian. Wow,
47.
That's a big penalty. That's a big penalty there. All the way back to the 47-yard line. It'll bring up a 4th down and 24 for the Red Tornadoes now. And we're going to kick. We're going to kick the ball now and punt it, trying to pin them down in bad field position. Number 26 is deep, and that's Barkavich for the Indians. That's a lot. Okay, they're now calling it a loss of down. And so the Red Tornadoes coughed the ball up, although Coach Brennan's having a serious argument about where the ball would be placed on a loss of down. But it's not going to win. He's not going to win this one. And the Indians now take over at the Mount Carmel or the Indian 47-yard line on that very odd exchange there between the offensive interference and where they marked the ball off. But it is what it is.
Yep. And
it's now 1st and 10 for the Indians as they come up on the ball, and Romanowski brings them up. Back to pass immediately, and he's going to be under a heavy rush. And this time he's going down big time. I believe he fumbled it. He did. That is a fumble.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why he did that. I think he was trying to pass it at the last minute, but he got hit, and the ball popped loose. So a big play for the Red Tornado defense. You'll see it on the replay coming up. But I'm not sure why he didn't just tuck the ball at the last minute there. And it's going to cost him as the Big Red takes over the football right back at the Indian 33-yard line. You'll see him under pressure. Now, you'll see that he has time, but right there he has his ball, his hand up in the air as he's trying to pass and get rid of it.
The big play.
And just took it out of there.
Who made that play was Justin Dillo. Justin Dillo was on Matt Spears, and 5 yards off the line, he was on top of Spears, and Romanowski had nobody to throw the ball to.
Shinsky right back to pass again. He's got Clea down in the corner, and he's heading for him. Clea just couldn't get to it as it crossed over the goal line. Bring up a 2nd down and 10 now for the Red Tornadoes. That was a pretty pass. He just couldn't run underneath it. He got it right in the corner where he was aiming it.
He couldn't run underneath it, and you can see some of the difference in the speed here with the cornerbacks from Shamokin and you know, the receivers for Mount Carmel. You know, Clea, they bit on it, and Clea just took off, and he was at least 5 yards pass on the backside of the defender.
6:35 remaining here in the 2nd quarter of play as Shinsky brings up and puts Veach in motion now. Once again back to pass, and he's looking over there. And that one I'm not sure. We had a broken play going somewhere there. Somebody didn't turn where they were supposed to. And once again, offensively, we look kind of confused here as the Indian defense is doing everything it can to make defense. It looks like the way this game is going as Shinsky brings them up. Shotgun formation, the Indians are coming. And Shinsky's going to be brought down, and there's going to be a flag in the middle of it. Held on a little too long that time, and he's going to be dropped back at the Indian. Let's see where he sets it. He's holding it now, but I think it's about the Indian, right on the Indian 40-yard line. And we'll see what the penalty is going to be. And it could be a holding, and it is. The Indians, I believe, are going to decline this. If they're smart, they will anyway. They do.
And number 19, their left defensive end over there, Dustin Martin, 6'1", 175, a sophomore only, is the one that's putting a lot of pressure on Dave. Now his wire, he's coming in very, very fast from that defensive end position and not giving Dave any time to set up and look downfield.
Brings up a 4th down and let's see, 4th down and about 20 again for the Red Tornadoes. And they go back in the punt formation. Now Barkavich sits back at his 10-yard line. Shinsky's going to be punting from about the 50 when he whacks it. And there was an official's timeout there as the last minutes of this quarter are going to take about 2.5 hours, it looks like, as things have slowed down considerably here. Shinsky boots a dandy after the ball goes overhead. It takes a Mount Carmel area bounce, and Shinsky boots it all the way down to the Shamokin area 11-yard line where it's blown dead. But what a heads-up play by Shinsky as the center snap went way. You can get it over Shinsky's head. You're going
You're
some.
right. You're right.
Because he's pretty tall, but he has the presence of mind to get back there, get the ball, and actually punt it. And he gets off a great punt and buries the Indians down at their 11-yard line or 12-yard line.
You know, the thing of it was he didn't panic at all. And that's one thing. It's something you can't teach a kid.
Yeah.
You know, something like that happens. You pick the ball up, and he turned around and he looked over the field to see what was going on, and then he kicked the ball.
Polish is the lone back. You got Romanowski, and he hands off to Polish, and Polish scoots through the middle there. He's going to take it up to about the 16-yard line. Gain about 5 yards in the play, bring up a second down and 10 for the Indians.
Yeah, Matsur making a tackle on that play, and he had some, Polish had some good running room there also. Matsur doesn't make the tackle. The offensive line for, again on that side, between Purnell and Dave Wetzel are, you know, making some holes here for the running back to get through.
This time he has the big guy, Treese, in that I-back formation. He goes back to pass, and he's looking way over the head of Barkavich that time. He had Barkavich open along the sideline. Barkavich did a kind of a curl and stop pattern and just got stopped when he got it over his head. And bring up a third down and about 6 now. It's actually a long 5 for the Indians. And they dearly want to pick up a first down or two here because this would really mean a big exchange in field position also if they're forced to punt from down here, even with the large one's booming foot. A big third down play now for the Indians at the 5:18 mark of the second quarter. Romanowski back to pass again, and this time he goes down.
Nobody touched Cuff coming in from his defensive end position.
Somebody missed him. It's going to put Romanowski down at the 9-yard line, and just as I said, the Indians did not want to do, but they will now punt from their own end zone. A lot of pressure on Kopp, and Kopp got it partially blocked. I did not see who got it, but it was partially blocked.
There were about 5 guys in there at that time that came through, and somebody did get their hand up on it.
So good field position for Mount Carmel area as they take over on the Shamokin Indy 18-yard line where it's 1st and 10. And Shinsky brings them up, and we're going to have a little trouble getting lined up here a little bit, but Shinsky gets them where he wants them and gets ready to put the ball into play, where he hands off to Veach, but no, he hands off to Clea on an inside reverse, and Clea is tripped up by number 36 and a great play by Polish as Clea had some running room, but Polish got him at the shoestring tackle there and brought him down. Gain of only about a yard on the play. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 9 for the Red Tornadoes. Shamokin defense still playing tough here.
I'll tell you what, I'm impressed with what the coaching staff over there has done with this defense. They're really playing, and don't forget, you're not playing with Nalowak, and John Nalowak was a sticker last year. There's Ziegler.
There's Ziegler. He breaks through, and Ziegler's taking it in, ladies and gentlemen. Touchdown. Mount Carmel area Red Tornadoes at the 3:47 mark in the second quarter. And there you had it. You key on Veach. That defense moved with him as Veach moved. And Ziegler pops it over the left side of the Mount Carmel area line and scores a touchdown. So it is now 18-6 in favor of the Red Tornadoes. And the Red Tornadoes call a timeout to decide whether they want to kick or go for 2, as they have not been that deadly on the extra point attempts no matter which version they choose.
Well, and that great play that time, the whole flow of the defense for Shamokin went with Veach going to the left, and Ziegler breaks through on the left-hand side, and he only had one defender to get by, and it was one heck of a stick. Tried to make a great downfield block, or downfield tackle, and Ziegler, just being entirely too strong, breaks the tackle and goes in for the touchdown.
Big play for the Red Tornadoes, all brought about by the partially blocked punt of Kopp as he was at the goal line when he was kicking, and we said this is what they do not want to do. A big stop by the defense forced it. Mount Carmel area takes over on the 18-yard line and punches it across for the score. So field position does come into play there, and the Indians have been snake bitten here in the first half of this game with all kinds of things going wrong for them, not the least of which is losing your star runner very early. In fact, was that the first or second play of the game just about?
Second play, yeah.
So it's been a tough night so far for the Indians, and they've stood up very well to it. Mount Carmel area has elected to go for 2 here. And Shinsky is in shotgun formation. Heavy rush. Nice play that time. And he's got Pilarski 42 in the end zone for the extra point attempt, but there's a penalty, and I believe it's going to go against us.
Oh, yeah.
It's smack dab in the middle of the line.
Somebody's holding.
It is the one thing that we are absolutely being seriously affected by is the penalties on the line, and it only occurred in the last 2 games.
Yeah, the first 2 games, everybody was so proud, so surprised about
so error-free there.
Error-free, how great they played, and now all of a sudden you can't do that in this big game like this. Against Shamokin, against Southern, you're just hurting yourself. You're putting yourself back in a hole. You never know; those 2 points might come up at the end of the game where you really need them.
So it takes the extra point attempt all the way back to the 18-yard line, which is a tough extra point attempt, especially when you're going for 2. But we'll see what the Red Tornadoes have cooked up for this play. You're back in that shotgun again with Ziegler as the kind of the guard for Shinsky. As Shinsky looks around, he's got pressure. He finds Clea, and Clea takes it in for the extra point attempt. There it is, a 2-point conversion from the 18-yard line, ladies and gentlemen. And Mount Carmel area now pops out to a 20-6 lead. And that was picture perfect as the Indians had all kinds of pressure, Wayne, on Shinsky, and he stood tight and tall and threw it.
Well, I'll tell you what we're trying.
Here's the extra point attempt on replay, Wayne, and there you see it. And Clea not only makes a nice catch, but he makes a nice move then as he turns the opposite way and gets into the end zone for the 2 points. So a big play for the Red Tornadoes, and now a 20-6 ball game with 3 minutes and 47 seconds remaining here in the first half.
You have to give it to Dave. Dave waited until the very last minute, and I think that's a design play because we're spreading the defense out by splitting way left over on this side, Veach and I guess Matsur over on the left-hand side, hoping to draw that defensive end over a little bit. But that has not occurred up to this point. And that defensive end, Dustin Martin, number 19, is just releasing and coming straight through on Dave Shinsky. Dave turns around to the weak side of the field, and he sees Josh Clea over there and hits him for the touchdown, or for the extra point.
Barkavich, Treese, and Spears, and it's going to go to Treese in the middle, the big guy. He heads for the sideline, and he's going to be sidelined there as number 3 for the Red Tornadoes, Dara, and number 42, Pilarski, sandwich the big lad, Treese, down right along the 25-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Indians in their own 25-yard line.
And 3 minutes and 41 seconds left. And now, again, you see the change in possession here. Shamokin now back to where they were in the first quarter, down on the 25-yard line, although had moved the ball very well in the last series of plays.
Treese and Polish in the backfield behind Romanowski as he brings him up here. He hands to Treese, and Treese goes right up the middle. He dropped the ball. There's a fumble on the play. The Indians have recovered it, but not without losing about 3 yards in a play back down to the 22. It'll be 2nd down and 13 now for the Indians. And again, offensively, they are having trouble getting moving here.
Yeah, Josh Yost coming up with the fumble recovery, number 51, their center.
What it really is, you look at Treese and you wonder, but Treese is playing at a position that he's not used to.
Right.
He's getting the ball in a different position. There's all kinds of things different in front of him now than he was used to as he has to take Nalowak's place. So you don't want to blame him too much as he's trying to get used to that tailback position right now. You got Barkavich in motion. Spears is back to pass. He's under heavy pressure, and he's brought down there. You got Yasenchak, who actually knocked him down, along with 54, Swank. And he was throwing as he was going down. The ball never reached the receiver. Brings up a 3rd down and 13 now for the Indians as the Tornado pass rush has been withering in the first half of play here.
And that's what it is. The pass rush is so strong, especially on that side. And Romanowski is rolling to the left. And the last couple times that he did roll to the left, he hasn't been able to set up. In fact, the one time trying to throw out to the out of bounds there, out on the flat, he was thrown off the wrong foot. So, you are right that this pressure is affecting Romanowski in his passing.
Romanowski brings him up. He's got Polish in back of him. He's got a trips out to his left as he drops back to pass. Pretty good protection this time.
Ooh.
But Swank and Lentini picks it up. Lentini is going to get the interception and take the ball down in Indian territory, very close to the 20-yard line, just outside the 20-yard line. Lentini on a nice play, but again, Swank was the guy to get leveled. Look at the replay. You'll see 54 cut through the middle here, and he's going to burst through, and there he is, and he puts the pressure. Romanowski left it go, and he was leaving it go again as he was being hit. And Lentini on the interception, so Mount Carmel area in business now at the Shamokin area 20-yard line, 1st and 10. And we hand it once again to Ziegler, and Ziegler was just pile driving his way over the 20 up to about the 17-yard line. A gain of about 3 in the play. Brings up 2nd down and 7 for the Tornadoes.
Again, I'll tell you what, some good play calling, especially down here, because now you're telling them here, you know, Ziegler made the touchdown the last time. We're going to bring it back at you again this time. We're going to make you honest. You know, you're going to have to keep your linebackers in their positions, not chase after Veach.
Actually picked up 4 in the play. Brings a 2nd and 6 as Veach now right up the middle. And Veach will take it up to the 15. Gain of about 2 yards on the play. Should bring up a 3rd down and about 4 when they finally put it down, as the Indian defense must have been chanting John Veach's name this whole week, because every move he makes, they make it with him here.
Yeah. And like I said, you know, what more can you say? They're just swarming all over. There's 4 guys moving in his direction all the time.
3rd down and 4 now for the Red Tornadoes as Shinsky goes into pass formation. He's looking deep. He was looking for Clea. Clea had double coverage there, and just out of his fingertips, it'll bring up a 4th down now, and probably a long 4 as we look at it for the Red Tornadoes, as Shinsky looks to Coach Brennan for some direction there, and Coach Brennan says, let's call a T here and talk about it at the 1:36 mark remaining here in the 2nd quarter. So the Indians need to keep us out of the end zone here. In fact, I think it's essential that the Indians keep us out of the end zone, because at the rate our defense is playing, and that's really the story of this ball game, is the Big Red defense. They have completely shut the Indians down. And of course, the sidebar story to that is we look across and there's Nalowak sitting on the bench, and so we'll never know the impact that Nalowak would have had on this game. Sadly and tragically, he leaves the game early, very early, and has not been able to play since. And he's sitting over there with a coat and all on, so I mean, only speculation, but I do not think we're going to see Mr. Nalowak come in for the remainder of this ball game. So the Indians are going to be hurt for the rest of the game, it looks like. So the timeout's over. We've all talked about it. Shinsky's going to trot back to the huddle. We look around tonight, and I cannot tell you how big this crowd is. It is gigantic. I mean, it is standing room around the stadium right now as far as the crowd goes on a picture-perfect football night. Just picture-perfect there. Shinsky brings him up. He's got Veach and Ziegler in the backfield, and he's going to go back to pass, and he does, and he's got Matsura, and Matsura is going to drag number 15, Romanowski, right into the end zone, as Romanowski couldn't stop him, and that's a touchdown for Matsura, number 21. Again, a nice pass play, good protection. He caught a nice pass and made a nice move into the end zone. And there's the replay. Take a look at the replay, Wayne. We'll see the move once he catches it. And there you have it. That's a nice move. Now, Romanowski has him, but just simply can't hold him as he's too strong, and pops into the end zone. Medalis now, we haven't seen him for a while in the extra point attempt as he comes in, and he boots it in again. He whacks this one, and he's got it. We've done it. We had a drought there of extra point attempts. So at the 1:29 mark of the 2nd period, Mount Carmel area now leads 27-6 over the Shamokin Indians, and the Indians are now in trouble. That offense better start clicking soon, or this game could get away from them.
Here's the key. The key is that I think in the 2nd quarter, about from the middle of the 2nd quarter on, the Tornado defense has tightened up a little bit and has put pressure on Romanowski that he can't sit back there and throw the ball like he did at the end of the 1st quarter. The other thing is, now that the defense for Shamokin had stymied. In fact, they've shut down our running game totally at this point, and Dave Shinsky has stepped up with his arm and you know, has taken us through here. They in the end of the 1st quarter, Shamokin's defense was putting a lot of pressure on Dave. Now all of a sudden, I think the offensive line is now settled down a little bit, gotten back into their pass protection. Dave has given enough time stepping up into the pocket just the way he should be.
Yasenchuk boots it up. It's going to go down on the sideline to, I'm trying to see who the number was. Was that 23 Christian, I guess?
Yep.
Christian got it away from it and kind of bobbled it around there. He had a fall on it. So the Indians will take over 1st and 10 from their own 21-yard line with 1:26 remaining, and we'll see what they have up their sleeve here. I would think they don't want to do anything dangerous here this far deep in their own territory. They've been hit a couple of times with some plays that came back to hurt them. So my guess is that Coach DeFrancesco is going to be a little bit conservative here at the very end of this half and try to get in here just losing 27-6 and try to regroup. And he does. He hands it off to the big guy, Treese. Treese comes up the middle, pops over, and he's going to hit the, I don't know, about the 22-yard line. It'll bring up 2nd down and about 8.
Yeah. Again, so, you know, and you're right, all he wants to do here is just run the clock out and get back into the halftime, into the locker room.
And it's a smart move, I think. You don't want to do anything crazy. He's already short of running back. You know, he's got to get his offense regroup. He's got to talk to them and get them straightened out a little bit there. He's going to be brought down there. He's got number 21, Matsura, hanging all over him all the way down at the 10-yard line as Matsura on a blitz. And once again, you know, when we blitz him, it's not as though we're getting past anybody. In that case, no one touched Matsura. I mean, he was not touched by a player. No one even saw him come through.
Well, that's just a stunt play that's done in the center of the line between Brown and Swank or Brown and Booker. They pinch to the outside, and what that does is open up a natural gap in the line there, and Matsura just picks a lane, one lane or the other, and that time, and you were right, nobody was even there, to stop Matsura. Now again, if you take a look at the offensive lineup there, in that offensive lineup, they only had one person back there to block for Romanowski. Everybody else was out on the pass pattern. So if you have a little bit of pressure coming in from Ziegler like we've had all night long, there's nobody else there, and Matsura has a clean shot.
And Mount Carmel area called timeout. It's 3rd and 20, and they're thinking they might get the ball back before the end of the half. There's 42 seconds remaining here in the first half of play, and we'll wait and see. The Indians certainly, I think, are going to try to run this clock out. I mean, they've got themselves at a 3rd and 20, the ball sitting inside the 11 at the 10-yard line. So I can't imagine us doing anything goofy here as they try to get into the half without any more damage. And they do. They hand it off to the big guy, Treese, and he pounds himself up the middle and, more importantly, chews up some valuable time as the clock continues to run now. Brings up a 4th down. And I'll try to guess where we're at, our 4th down and maybe 17 or so for the 1st down. So the Indians, and what Mount Carmel area was really trying to set up there was a punt block.
Right.
The Indians are doing everything they can to waste that time. In fact, I believe they're going to probably take a delay of game.
It all depends on when he spotted the ball.
Yeah, that's what they are doing. They're going to try to get into the half at 8-7-6. They believe that they don't have to do anything, and they don't. They're right. Yeah. They made a calculated call, and they did.
Here, the thing of it was, that ball was put down on the ground with 33, 34 seconds left, and that's what the coaching staff over here was sort of saying. The ball was placed in play with enough of time left over that they could have punted it.
So at the end of the first half of play, ladies and gentlemen, here in this cold bucket bonanza of a football game, it is Mount Carmel area 27 and the Shamokin area Indians 6. We're going to ask you to stand by and listen to our good sponsors here and see what they have to offer you as we go into the halftime. We'll be back with the halftime stats, and I believe that I'm hearing whispers in my ear that we have some special guests at halftime, so we'll keep you posted and stay tuned as we get to all that here before the next half of play. Okay, gang, as I promised you, we have some special guests here with us at halftime, and those of you that have watched the WKMC TV over the past years will instantly recognize these two lugs on either side of me here. Over on my right here, I got Ryan Devine, and of course over here, jumping Joe Mazer. And these guys are graduates of this program, so to speak. And they're actually the first two that would ever come back and talk to us. So it either means there's something wrong with you guys.
Nah.
Or you're going to have a completely boring evening going here. But We welcome you back here, and
Thank you.
why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves, where you're at right now, and what you're doing. We'll start over here with the big guy.
Well, we're up at Mansfield University, our major mass communications with the emphasis of broadcasting. We thought we'd follow through here with our little teaching from the studio, you know what I mean? And why don't you tell them about our radio show, Joe, that we have?
Yeah, they have a really good radio program up there, a radio station, WNTE, Giant 89.5. And we have our own radio show up there. Getting some experience on the radio instead of TV. But got to make do with what you have. So
it's a step down, you know. I mean, of course, but you know,
it's fun.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. So if you're in Mansfield, on Tuesdays between 2 and 4 in the afternoon, pull over.
Prime time drive time, no less. 2 and 4 on Mansfield. All right, during the rush hour.
Pull over, lock in 89.5.
Rush hour around Potter County, huh?
Yep.
So let me ask you this, I guess either one of you or both, you leave a program like this, which is considered, I guess, on the high school level as one of the premier broadcasting programs in the state of Pennsylvania, maybe on the East Coast. When you move on to the collegiate level, what's it like? Is it a big step up?
Actually, it's a step down.
Really?
Like, our studio is a little bit more technologically advanced.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so you like in our dorm, on our floor in our dorm, we have most of our floor is actually broadcasting majors, mass comm majors. So we'd say to them, we had this high school television station back in Mount Carmel, and we did this. We taped football games, basketball games, wrestling matches. We did our own 10-minute live news broadcast every morning. And they're like, wow. I mean, I wish my school had something like that.
Their faces were just pure awe.
Yeah.
It's like, so they really...
That's a tribute here. We keep saying that, and it's hard for the public to understand what guys like you did for 4 years here, and the kind of stuff these young guys and girls are doing right now. But you don't see the real technology involved here, and it's a basis of what's been from George McPhee on down, and it's a school board that supports this kind of thing with the kind of money that's involved in producing it and running it all the time. But when you look at what the results are, and you two guys are tangible results of a program that can send you to a college, into a program, and be standouts and to be able to pick it up right away in your first year and have radio programs and stuff. That's the real testament to this program.
Yeah, the television studio here at Mount Carmel was such a great opportunity.
Now let me ask you one big question before we have to go here. What part of what I taught you have you used the most? Okay, folks, a lot of dead air on that one as there was just too many things for them to narrow down and they were unable to tell us. But I want to say thanks for both of you to stop up here. Of course, you're welcome anytime. As alumni, you can do whatever you want here. I tried to talk them into doing this themselves, but they needed me in the middle. I don't know.
Gotta have the big guy here.
I think for balance more than anything. But we appreciate the two of you stopping by. We wish you both a lot of luck and continue your education. And we'll expect to see you again sometime.
Certainly. Yep. Thanks for having us.
Again.
Thank you very much.
Big guy, take care. Nice job, guys. Okay, gang, we're back here with the halftime stats to get ready for the start of the second half here. And Wayne, I understand these numbers are going to be ugly on both sides of the ball.
I'm telling you what, I have never, ever seen them this bad on either side. In the first half, Mount Carmel rushing for 15 times for only 36 yards. Veach 8 for 15, Ziegler 4 for 27. He has Clea down here 1 for 0, and Shinsky 1 for -6. In the passing department, we're 4 of 14, and this is the only saving grace we have at this point. 4 of 14 for 82 yards. Receptions, Veach 1 for 33. Matsura 3 for 49. First downs 5 for the Tornadoes. On the other side of the field, Shamokin rushing 18 for -45 yards. In the passing department, 2 of 9 for 1 yard. First downs, 0 for Shamokin at this point.
No first downs in the first half, and that's indicative of how tough a time that they've had it offensively. We have not had it much better offensively, but are showing success passing the ball somewhat.
I think
a modicum of success running, but not like we're used to.
Right. I think a little bit of success for us too. I think was the specialty teams. We had one clear on the kickoff or on the punt there, run the ball back. And I think that sort of knocked some of the air out. And the other one was Ziegler's block punt on Kopp in the first period that put us down there, and we scored off that one also. Right. So I think some of the specialty teams has really kept us in the game here and proved advantageous for us.
So we get ready here as the Indians will kick off to the Tornadoes. Tornadoes will have possession first here in the second half of play. And I know that both offenses were probably the focus of that halftime talk on either side of this field here in the locker room. So we'll see what happens as Kopp kicks it high but very short this time, and Yasenchak takes it at the 25-yard line and pile drives his way all the way up to the Mount Carmel area 39-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Red Tornadoes, and they lead this game 27-6 as we had talked about. So our first chance to see what Coach Brennan devised there in the locker room for the offense, and we'll see what the Indians do. And basically, they won't do anything differently on defense. They're
doing an excellent job on defense. They have a swarming defense going here and have shut everything down on the running side. And that's sort of, if you look at those numbers, that's indicative on both sides of the ball. For the Tornadoes, the defense also has gotten very stringent and very stingy on some of the pass plays for Romanowski and the running play. So, it's going both ways. The defensive on both sides of the ball have really stepped it up tonight.
A penalty on the play. The Indians were caught for the ubiquitous illegal substitution. How'd you like that, baby, huh?
I heard like.
So that's a 5-yard penalty.
I got to go through the dictionary to get that one.
1st and 5 for the Red Tornadoes from about the 45-yard line as Veach quickly, he takes it up over the 5 to about the 45 to the 48, where it'll be a gain of 3. It'll be a 2nd down and 2 for the Red Tornadoes here. And my guess is that Big Red said to themselves in halftime, let's establish the run. Right. It's what we do. It's what we are. Let's see if we can't get back running the ball. So they have the luxury of a lead where they can do that, whereas the Indians unfortunately need to get back in the ball game fairly quickly and will probably have to throw the ball a little more than they probably had wanted to coming into the game. That's actually a 1st and 10 where we ended up with, though. So I didn't see that. I didn't think he gained 5 yards there, but he did. This time, Ziegler on again that same play that went for the touchdown, a fake to Veach. You got everybody moving one way, and Ziegler pounds it over the 50-yard line, all the way down to the Indian 42-yard line, where it's going to bring up a 2nd down and short, 2nd down and probably 2.
Some good running by Ziegler that time. He did get through the interior portion of the line, and once he got through, he had to, take on a few tacklers there and did an excellent job showing some good strength and some good upright running.
Right up the middle again goes Ziegler, and Ziegler's going to pick up the 1st down as he crosses over the 40-yard line down to the 38 of the Indians, where it is 1st and 10. And I was right for the first time maybe in 10 or 15 years, and that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Yeah, you are right. That is the first time in about 10 years. But
thanks for backing that up. I just needed to have some confirmation on that, and I want to say how much I appreciated it. To Veach this time, and he cuts around a block by Ziegler, and this time he got loose. Thomas is the only guy down there to stop him, and he does, but not before Veach takes it down inside the 15 down to the 13-yard line, and that's the first time tonight John was able to break loose, Wayne.
Yeah, you see number 15, Ryan Romanowski down there, the free safety. He has taken over. It went back into that position. They had, when Nalowak came out, Romanowski went into the strong safety position, but now he's back into seemed like the free safety, and was back there to take the Veach on.
Veach again, this time the other way. He makes a nice move in the middle of the line, and he takes it in. Touchdown, Mount Carmel area, and that's as good a cut as you're ever going to see. And Mount Carmel area comes out on offense and makes a statement that they are not going to be held in the running department. And now it is Mount Carmel area 33, the Indians 6 with the extra point. And we are going to see number 1 come out for Mount Carmel area.
Matt Medalis.
Medalis.
He's putting his shoe on. Dave's over there waiting for him.
Here we go. We're going to line that baby up. High snap, but he pops it up, and woo.
Nice kick.
Ooh, no good,
No.
though. I will never understand those kicks. But again, he's kicking with some authority there. And even Booker saying to the ref, you know, how was that bad? But they're so high, they're really hard to see it. But he doesn't make it, so the score remains Mount Carmel area 33 and the Shamokin area Indians 6. And that score came at the 10-minute and 11-second mark of the third quarter. And the Indians, I would say now, need to start feeling some anxiety as even this early in the second half, time begins to tick away for them. They have not been able to do much offensively. We will be watching to see what does happen when they get the ball here and what adjustments they've tried to make. And, of course, their biggest adjustment so far has been the adjustment of not having Nalowak in the backfield, and that's a pretty big adjustment.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach Brennan must have gnawed on some people at halftime in the locker room, because I'll tell you what, they came out this time and started to move some people down the field a little bit. And Shamokin had certainly dominated the offensive line in the running department.
Treese is down there with Barkavich and Spears on either side. The ball's going to bounce towards Spears. He picks it up around the 15-yard line and goes down about the 22-yard line. And a nice tackle down there by, once again, Lentini, number 26.
I'd like to see his stats off of Jose at the end of the year, because I'll tell you, that kid is either he's there by himself or he's in with somebody else making a tackle or somebody's helping him. He's like on a suicide mission running down there to make those tackles on the specialty team.
So the Indians open up offensively for the first time here in the second half from their own 22, where it's 1st and 10. Polish the lone back as he moves Treese over into a split backfield formation. They're going to hand it off on a reverse to Barkavich, and oh my goodness, Yasenchak said, no, along with Cuff, but Yasenchak was the whack on that one. They're going to lose yardage on the play. And again, the thing I would say about a play like that is that they're not fast enough to be running like that inside. The play took way too long.
Yeah,
Speed is the one thing they don't have, Wayne, and it's becoming apparent here in the inside of the line even.
Well, the thing of it is you got Nalowak, and he is your leading rusher. Now all of a sudden you take your fullback, your blocking fullback,
right,
who's not noted to run, and put him back into that position. And you are right, it does make a big difference.
This time, that Romanowski completes the pass after a big hit to Polish. Polish is brought down by Matsura, but a flag flew up in the air, and I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
Sure who that's going to go against. Although my guess is it should go against the Indians, and it does. And for the first time that he gets a completed pass off, it was because of a holding penalty. So one thing I say about Romanowski so far is he has took some hellacious hits and is still standing up in there. And I got to give that kid a lot of credit. He has been beaten up here tonight and been hit from all sides, but he doesn't flinch. I mean, he just stands, plants his feet, and throws, and that's what you like to see from a kid in high school. He's really shown some courage out here. Not had a lot of success, but not all his fault, certainly.
Yeah. Well, he's at 6 foot. He's a junior, so he'll be coming back. I mean, this is just great experience for him now. He'll be back again next year. We'll be seeing him again.
Back to pass again under heavy pressure. And once again, he's going to be brought down. And Cuff has been rampaging. And I use the word rampaging in the Indian backfield all night. And it looks like he's just going to continue to do so.
Well, I think what we're doing on that defensive side is when they run a slot to that side, we're just releasing Cuff. We're letting him go and saying, you do what you want to do. Because it's just, full-out tilt for Cuff. Nobody's touching him. There's no blocker back there to protect Romanowski.
Brings up now 4th down and 23 now for the Indians, and they are faced with a punting situation from their own 10. The big guy, Kopp, is going to have to punt from the end zone once again. This time almost as Ziegler. I don't know how he missed that, but Clea picks it up at his 45. crosses midfield, makes a nice spin move, and takes it down to the Indian 42-yard line, and a penalty flag, and that one's going to go against the Indians for piling on. Late hit. Piling on's the old word. Late hit is the new one. I was piling on in my day.
Oh, God.
It's actually piling on in the yard, too, when you do that, no matter where you play that. But late hit in this game. But either way, a difficult penalty. A Mount Carmel area player is down right at midfield, and I cannot get his number for you, but as soon as I can, I will tell you who that is. But a big penalty against the Indians, not one they needed to take. And again, not an obvious ugly penalty, just kind of a late hit, just came a little bit later than it was supposed to, and they called it.
And I'll tell you what, I was surprised. Andy Kopp had some great some great pressure that time, and he got that ball off, and that was one heck of a kick. That put Klee all the way back to about the 45-yard line for the Tornadoes, and he was standing on the goal line when he made that punt.
Yeah, that was a good kick. And again, Ziegler really pressuring that entire punt formation there. So still have not been able to tell you who's down on the field for the Tornadoes, but he's down right at the midfield stripe now. Coach Brennan is out there with him. Doc Greco, and he's looking at his, looks like his right, no, he's looking at his left leg now.
That might, I can't say.
I can't really tell what it is, though, as they're going to bring out, they're going to immobilize it. They're bringing out one of those immobilizer things, for lack of a better medical word. So
it's a flexible cast.
That's not what you want to see. Of course, the Indians losing a star player in the second play of the game.
I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, it's number 29, Damian Buggy.
And I believe now on the Shamokin side of the ball, someone's leaving on a stretcher over there.
That might be Nalowak.
It could be Nalowak. I'm not sure. I no longer see Nalowak sitting around anywhere, but that's what you do not like to see, is a guy off the bench going out. And we're going to wait and see on this Mount Carmel area player, as he's still down on the field, as Shinsky checks with the coach as he's walking out. But
I think someone down on the field at halftime, they said Nalowak had a slight concussion. So, the best thing they can do is, get him out and have him looked at by the medical staff. And
the penalty pushes the ball all the way down to the Indian 27-yard line, where Mount Carmel area will take it over 1st and 10. Number
29, Damian Buggy, that's who it was.
Damian Buggy down on the field on that punt return. And they have his leg immobilized, and I'm sure that's more of a cautious thing now. We have a training staff on the field at all times now, which is a great thing to see, along with Doc Greco. So they have him sitting on the bench. They immobilized it just to be sure that it is nothing really serious, and we'll learn later on about that. But right up the middle goes Veach, and he knocks it all the way down to the 20-yard line. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and about 2 for the Red Tornadoes, as they now begin to assert themselves on both sides of the ball.
Well, they came out with a little bit more intensity, I think, than what they started the game out with. You could see in that series of downs when John took the ball in for a touchdown that they were starting to put some holes in there and move some people down the field. And now you're seeing on the carry, it's 8 yards, 7 yards at a time.
Ziegler right up the middle, and Ziegler is just unstoppable right now. Finally brought down in there by Thomas, who's having a great defensive game for the Indians, but not before the 1st down, and then some picked up by Ziegler. As Ziegler comes off the field, I believe he broke his shoulder pads, the way it looks.
Yeah, Gig Thomas, between Gig Thomas and Tony Treese, the linebackers, number 64, Big Papa, Mike Purnell, number 64, they're just doing an outstanding job
back
tonight.
To pass, and he's got Lentini. Lentini breaks the tackle. That's Weiland that we got loose on, and pops it into the end zone, so a touchdown for Lentini. And that's going to bring the score to Mount Carmel area 39 and the Indians 6, as the Indians now are being blown out of this football game and kind of helpless at the moment to do much about it. Bad field position here in the second half has not helped their cause much.
No, and that type of play there, what they're doing is isolating one-on-one, and it's designed to do that. You catch the ball and hope
Dallas
that you can break away.
Good. So the score now is Mount Carmel area 40,
and there's a flag.
Area 6 at the 7:16 mark. of the third period. We'll wait and see. There's a flag, as Wayne said. We'll see what that call turns out to be.
I would say probably unnecessary roughness. Probably hit the holder.
Oh, holder hitting.
Yes. Nothing worse than that.
Nothing worse than a holder hit.
I'll tell you what.
Nothing worse than a holder hit if you're the holder, that's for sure.
I got kicked out of the game for starting a fight at one time because the holder, Tommy Alexander, was run over by someone, and I proceeded to, you know.
This has never surfaced before now, has it?
Yeah.
This puts a whole new light on you.
I just felt bad for Tommy Alexander at the time.
Roughing the kicker, it's
There
going
you
to be
go.
enforced on the kickoff, and I guess that's the one thing Coach DeFrancisco really has to address very quickly is, you know, I know this is a game that's got away from them. There's not much chance they're going to win it, but you don't want to leave a bad taste in anybody's mouth by making some dumb penalties here. And unsportsmanlike penalties are the dumbest ones you can possibly make, so they need to get their poise back a little bit. We're kicking the ball off from their 45-yard line, so I don't anticipate great field position for them either. But the other thing we're going to see go into effect here immediately, in fact, is the mercy rule. In the second half, the mercy rule is employed when one team gains a 35-point differential over the other. I'm sorry, no, it isn't. It's only 40-6, so it's only a 34-point. Yeah, 34-point. I'm sorry. We are not in the mercy yet, so the clock will continue to work as usual. But Timmy Santamieri, our good buddy on the other side of this booth,
He's running the clock.
actually made a printout for us here, and it gave us the entire story of the mercy rule. So from now on, when we're saying, "Oh, the mercy rule works," or that, we're going to know. Treese right up the middle again. The big guy. Big guy brings it out to about the 24-yard line, where the Indians will.
Johnny Kirpich in on that tackle.
So we'll see what the Indians have to do. Medalis in the ball game for the Red Tornadoes now in that defensive backfield.
I see Johnny came out this in the second half. He has his left hand taped up a little bit.
So we'll see what the Indians have in mind here as they come out. Romanowski underneath the center. Red Tornadoes are blitzing once again, and they're going to have Romanowski again. And again, it's Matsura is the first guy in as he blitz, and they have not been able to handle Matsura. Brown, the other guy who made the other half of that sandwich up. But it just gets worse and worse here for the Indians as they cannot stop the Mount Carmel area defense.
Now what happens there in that case is that Brown rolls to the right. He lines up a little bit off center to the left of the center, and he moves to the right, and he's making a swinging motion. Swank is doing the same thing, but he's going to the left. And again, the center's taking Brown, and Swank is being guarded by Purnell, and that leaves a natural hole right there for Matsura.
2nd and 20 now for the Indians. And we had a handoff inside there to Polish, number 36. And Polish is going to bring it up over the 20-yard line to about the 21, where it'll bring up a third down and about 15. Gaining just about 5 yards on the play for the Indians. I talk about Supper Club, but I sheepishly admit that as I was sent to one of the far-flung outposts of my company's far-flung businesses, I was not able to get back in time, but I understand from the other people there that was, again, a capacity crowd at Supper Club. It was really a great time, and of course for the big game I could kick myself, but then again I do like to get money so I could eat, so I decided to go ahead with it. But you don't want to miss that every Thursday night at 6:15 at Matucci's. And Yasenchak, he's going to take it in, but Romanowski took an ugly hit. He's still down. That was horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, Cuff just absolutely demolished him. Shinsky goes over and helps him up, and that's some great sportsmanship, one quarterback to the other. But the Indians stunned on the interception. Now 46-6 is the score. Excuse me. And now, thankfully, due to my bad math before, we will be in the mercy rule situation.
And you don't even have to subtract anything.
I don't have
you
to
already
subtract
know.
it. I'm okay on that. As Medalis tries the extra point, and he gets it up high, but once again, he gets it over to that one side, and it will be no good. And the score remains at the 5:37 mark of the third period. Mount Carmel area 46 and the Indians 6. As Mount Carmel area came out here in the second half literally breathing fire. The Mount Carmel stands, everybody's on their feet now as the entire first team is trotting off, and we have put, for the most part, another unit here on the kickoff team, and that's unusual to be able to do that. Usually the kickoff and punts, if you're
remain
doing them,
the same.
You stay the same no matter what. But Coach Brennan has put a much different team in now. A couple of regulars sprinkled in there, but for the most part, a new team. And we will, as always, be patient with us, try to get everybody's name and number, because we want to look at both sides of the ball now and see what we can get in there.
And again, it's the defense there that has really stepped up since the middle of the second quarter, putting so much pressure on Romanowski that he's actually throwing the ball blind. You have Cuff coming in from that side, either the right defensive end is coming in, or you got Matsur coming in through the center. And, Romanowski's trying to throw over them. He's having a hard time seeing his receivers. And consequently, what's occurring is that their Tornadoes are just intercepting the ball.
Number 12, that's Spears, and he nearly breaks it out. Spears, the ball squirts loose, but Spears gets it all the way out to the Indian 40. See where he sets it down at about the 43-yard line. Yeah, that's where he's going to set up. A nice return by Spears that time.
Showing some nice speed going up the sideline. He got a nice hole over on that left side, right in front of his own bench, and took it all the way down to 43. Some great speed.
So run this quickly down, ladies and gentlemen. As I said before, we are in the mercy rule situation here, as all of Mount Carmel's starters are now coming out of the ball game, or at least most of them anyway. As we look, we'll try to get you some of the new guys in there. Shamokin area now sets it up. Romanowski, and I cannot say enough good things about Romanowski tonight. He's had a very tough night all around. He's taken some hits that I would not want to do myself. A fumble in the middle. Ball bounced free. I believe the Indians have recovered it. Looks like Romanowski may have fallen back on it, or his center, because they're both sitting down. Yeah. It's the center, actually, I believe. Or 47, I'm sorry. Treese is the guy that recovered at the back. But just kind of indicative of a tough night here for Coach DeFrancesco's guys here. And this is going to happen. We knew they were a team that's building itself a little bit under a new coaching staff. And some of the stuff we've seen here today, especially from the Romanowski kid, has been spectacular as far as standing in there and taking the hits. He's really done a great job. Nalowak, again, such a shame in a big game that he does not get to play, as he's injured very, very early, and we never saw what he could do or what he could have done to change this game for the Indians. Romanowski takes it around the end now on a keeper, and he picks up some big yardage. In fact, he may go all the way, as he's down as a shoestring tackle and a penalty. Oh my goodness.
All the way back here.
Oh
on
my
15,
goodness. Pilarski
25.
brought him down, but that's not one you want, as that one was as wrong as you want to make one, as you're almost in the end zone. So that's going to come back. A big penalty is going to hurt the Indians, as Romanowski finally breaks free. And that will negate a very big play, and truly Romanowski deserved it.
Oh, definitely.
He's just been hacking away at this thing all night. He never gives up, but not to be on that play, at least, as it's going to come back all the way back up the field. 3 minutes and 44 seconds remaining in the third period.
And how many times over the years we had talked about what Pilarski just did? You have someone break away and running down the sidelines, and you're 3 yards back, and he's getting closer and closer to the goal line. And all Pilarski did was dove and swatted for his legs, for Romanowski's legs, and exactly what he's supposed to do, and he tripped him up on the 4-yard line.
So the ball all the way back up to the Mount Carmel 34-yard line, where it's 1st and 10 for the Indians, as Romanowski brings them up. This time he's got Polish, and Polish breaks over the end there, down inside the 30, down to the Mount Carmel area 27-yard line, where it's going to bring up a 2nd down and 5, gain of 5 for Polish on the play, as we continue to shuttle people in and out of the defensive formation.
Number 59, Nick Bierster, goes in now. And Shoppy, 55, comes out. We have number 45, Mike Lashinsky, the linebacker, calling the shots on the defense.
Mixed up in the backfield that time. Everybody kind of got bunched up. Barkavich had the ball, but Barkavich is tackled by 58 there.
Steve Polifka.
Red Tornadoes. So a loss on the play for the Indians. Now they'll push the ball back. It'll bring up a third down now, and they're down in about 7 from where they put the ball down. The Indians have signaled a timeout as Coach DeFrancesco gets into the huddle. Try to do what I was telling you before about the mercy rule. The clock should be stopped only when an official's timeout is taken, a charged timeout is granted, a period ends, or a score occurs. On an incomplete pass, the clock continues to run. If the ball carrier goes out of bounds, the clock does continue to run. If there's a first down, the clock will stop. They'll set the change and then start the clock right on the ready for play signal. If a ball carrier makes a first down, then goes out of bounds, the clock stops, change are set, and then we start it again as soon as the ready to play signal is given. A punt goes out of bounds, again, clock stops only until the ready for play is sounded, and if it goes into the end zone, the same thing. If there's a score, the stop will clock and remain stopped during the extra point try. A kickoff, the clock will start only when legally touched, as if in a regular part of the game. If it's a touchback, the clock will start on the ready for play again. Hope you got all that, because I may have to redo that a few times. Romanowski back now, and he's under pressure still, and I'm not sure where that was heading. The only guy he had down there was Spears, and Spears was covered by 3 Red Tornadoes, and it falls incomplete, brings up a 4th and 7 for Romanowski now, as that was, I think, a blown play one way or the other, because the receiver turned the other way.
Yeah, Spearsy was trying to run an inside-outside pattern and hit the corner, and Dillo kept him to the inside, believe it or not.
The Indians would desperately like to put a score on the board here at the 1:38 mark of the third period. So Romanowski will bring him up on a big 4th and 7 play now for the Indian offense. He's got Treese and Polish in back of him and Barkavich out in that slot. He's going to hand it to Treese, and Treese is not going to get it. He's brought down there by Swank, who was the official hit, and 58, Bierster. Is it 58?
No,
I'm
58
sorry,
is Polifka, Steve
I'm sorry.
Polifka. We have number 56 in there also, Eric Beaver.
So the Red Tornadoes stopped the Indians on 4 downs there after the big run by Romanowski and turned the ball over on downs. Mount Carmel area will take over 1st and 10 in their own territory at the 37-yard line, and there's 50 seconds or so left here in the third period, and we have a new quarterback, Wayne.
John Darra's come in. He's called timeout here. I guess we don't have enough players, or they were a little late getting out into the huddle. But John Darra, they're looking for a lineman, I think. Johnny Darra takes over as quarterback now.
Give me a chance again to remind everybody, ladies and gentlemen, this is WKMC TV, broadcasting directly from the campus at Mount Carmel Area High School on Channel 13 of the Service Electric Cable System at 8 p.m. on the football season on Wednesday nights. We are an instructional fixed television service, and I remind everybody, as I do every week, at 7:30 a.m. in the morning, tune in to Channel 13 on your television sets, and you will catch WKMC TV and its very talented crew live and in person. And while I'm talking about the very talented crew, you got to see 2 of the alumni at halftime. Wayne and I talked with those 2 guys. But on main camera tonight, of course, we have Amy Hampton. Field cameras, Paul Walters, Krister Petruskevich, and Josh Yeager. The cable grips, David Elson, Jesse McPhee. Still photography, Erica Goodlunas, and master control, of course, Joe, I ate all of the pizza gushin. And of course, as I say every week, and we do every week, bungee cording the entire operation together is Dave McPhee, who's usually right about now underneath the van whimpering. I posed an important question to Mr. Major and Mr. Devine at halftime. I asked them, Wayne, how much of what I had taught them they used in the first year of college, and we had so much dead airspace, the FCC almost came and closed the station down. So,
took our license off.
Yeah, things didn't go where I hoped they would go there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, almost. We're going to stop and set the clock as we normally do here, and then we're going to see first down. We're going to set the chains, and that's the end of the third quarter, ladies and gentlemen. With the score of the Mount Carmel area Red Tornadoes 46, the Shamokin Indians 6. The Red Tornado fans are on their feet, and we ask you to stand by and watch these short messages from our very good sponsors. Both teams there getting instructions for their coaching staff before we begin this fourth quarter period of play. Waving down there, my good man Tony Nestico down there, of course, invaluable member of my staff. I only have one guy on my staff, but he's invaluable. He's down there, and I'm not sure what he's doing, but I'm probably going for food, which is usually what he's doing. So I'll keep my eye on him. We want to take a moment here in the fourth quarter. We had a kind of a special request here at the beginning of the game as we were talking to some of the people that come up in the press box, and we did have a special request. Of course, we have 2 birthdays going here. We have down below me having 17th birthday. You can see that sign down there.
To Ange.
And she's one of the cheerleaders.
Yes.
And on the other side of the ball, we'll get this snap off as Dara hands it off to Hynoski.
32.
I'll get her. Hynoski, and he picks up some yardage. But a big happy birthday on the other side of the ball to Ken Snyder. Ken Snyder, of course,
number 10.
is celebrating his 16th birthday. He's a number 10 for the Indians on the other side of the ball, and the word was that we should all get off the road forever as he now takes to the road. I thought that was harsh, but knowing our moments in time driving, maybe it wasn't, I don't know. But a big happy birthday to both of those people as Dara brings them up and he hands off in the middle there and still moving.
I didn't even see who that was.
Kovaleski, number 30, with the ball.
Yep.
Spears stops them. It brings up a 3rd down and about 6 for the first down now for the Red Tornadoes.
Number 31, Dave Brown comes out. Excellent game he had at nose guard and playing on the offensive side. And number 66, Brandon Brown goes in.
Dara back to pass and nearly picked off that time by Weiland, number 9. He was trying to get it out to number 37 for the Red Tornadoes, Kirpage, but Weiland on a good play broke it up, and he'll bring up a punting situation for the Red Tornadoes at the 10-minute and 30-second mark of the fourth quarter, and Dara's looking around saying, what do you want to do here now? And I'm not sure because it's 4th and 5. I think we might go for it. I was going to say, what are we going to do here? No, Medalis is in the punt.
Medalis or Johnny's gonna punt.
We only let quarterbacks do the punting in this team, and so Dara's gonna have to punt it. Barkavich, 26, goes back very quickly back there, and also with him, it looks like 30, Steve Cook. Kind of bounced it back, but he gets it off in a nice play. Cook with the ball. Cook cuts it up, and he's going to be drugged down about the 45-yard line. Heads-up play by Dara. The second time we've seen a Mount Carmel area punter tonight make a heads-up play as this one, the first one went over the punter's head. This one kind of bounced around to him.
37, Johnny Kirpridge, and number 60, Jesse Vogler in on the play.
There's a birthday 17th for Ange down there, and of course we look forward to seeing her in basketball as she's a force on her own in girls basketball for Mount Carmel area. So we'll see her play in the upcoming months here as we start to cover some of that basketball and wrestling and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that. But we're just in the middle of the football season right now, so we'll stick to that. Treese, number 47, the big guy, and he breaks along the sideline. It's going to take number 1, Medalis, to pop him out of bounds, and he does, as Treese got ahead of steam. And now we look at Mount Carmel area, and they send an entire new group of players into the ball game. So this is a Chinese fire drill now, trying to get all those names, but we will try to get them for you.
75, John Remick. 79, John Skinner. Eric Beaver, 56, is still in. Number 74, Dave Urbanovich is in.
In the ball game for the Indians at quarterback is now 9. Chris Weiland is doing the quarterbacking for the Indians as Coach DeFrancesco has begun, and he now has to call a timeout as I'm not sure what went wrong there, but Coach DeFrancesco trying to get some new guys in, although I would ask him, I think by now, at the 8-minute and 20-second mark of the fourth quarter, you might want to rest some of those running backs too. As this game is slowly moving to its conclusion, the stands have begun to empty out here now. Not the way Shamokin area had hoped the ball game would go, certainly, but a learning experience, I think, for them as we look down the road for them. Mount Carmel area having a horrible first half offensively, but looking in the second half like their old selves, and I guess those stats may turn out to be a little better than they originally looked. But certainly the keys in this game, at least the one key that happened for the Indians, was that they stopped John Veach for the most part. Unfortunately, it did not reflect in any part of the score, as we scored in the first half in a kind of really goofy ways. You know,
right.
Not goofy,
the specialty teams.
The specialty team play really was what kept it going. We had really no real good offense there, although we did pass the ball successfully a few times, and then we took a couple of penalties. Now, you notice in the second half, the penalties are gone. We have not seen those same penalties, and that's the difference. Weiland's going to go back to pass. He's under pressure, and he's got, intercepted. I'm going to see. I can't
32,
see
that was Ben Hynoski.
Hynoski, okay. Weiland, I'm not sure where that was going. He had all kinds of room to run. He stopped dead, and he was looking downfield. He had one receiver, but there was no way he was going to get it to him with Hynoski in that position. So another turnover for the Indians, and Mount Carmel area takes over 1st and 10 in their own territory at the 28-yard line, but that's one that he'll learn from on the films when he sees where everybody was positioned on the field and what he was trying to do there.
That case there, he could have easily probably picked up the first down, ran out of bounds, killed the clock, moved the chains. Yeah.
But again, and that's a learning process, absolutely there. That's how you learn. Mount Carmel area will get, I'm sure we're going to get that flag there now, right? Or don't they call that now?
No, it's when you're coming off, not when you're going on.
All right. Ooh. Nice hit. Kovalevsky with the ball, but a big hit in there by Thomas. And number 64, that's Pinnell. Still wondering why some of those guys are in the ball game, to tell you the truth. Gig Thomas now wandering to the sideline, either off or to get instructions, one or the other. He's going to come off. And is it 52 or 62? 62,
Robert,
not 62 that came in.
Tim Weiland.
Yeah, Weiland, because then was Weiland the other Weiland's brother? Number 9?
You know what? I don't know.
I sent you down there. I put you in that school, and you can't come back with a good answer.
Help it.
My goodness. With the Weiland boys, please visit Brokenshire sometime
I have
on
Timmy.
Monday.
I have Timmy in class.
Straighten him out if you could, please. As Mark Kovalevsky now comes around the end, makes a nice move, cuts upfield all the way up to the Mount Carmel area 38-yard line, where it's very close to the first down. About a 10-yard pickup for Kovalevsky as he made a nifty move as he turned upfield.
Number 35, Robbie Shivelhood makes a nice block on the end for Kovalevsky to cut upfield and pick up the first down.
Clock continues to run here as soon as they set the ball for the first down. It was indeed a first down, so it's 1st and 10 for the Red Tornadoes as Dara brings them up. Ben Hynoski, and Ben Hynoski finds some running room there, and he takes it over the 45 up to the 47-yard line. Gain of about 8 on the play. Should bring up a 2nd down and 2 for the Tornadoes, and they're running pretty well on their own there with this different unit in there. Time continues the clock, and a flag went down, and it went down far enough in the backfield to think it's going to go against Big Red, and indeed it will. So that will bring the ball back on the penalty mark-off. We'll see where it finally ends up, but a nice run that time by Hynoski. .5:31 remaining in the football game, and crowd continue to trickling out here, so there won't be a massive traffic jam. This was a great football crowd tonight, it really was.
Yes.
A lot of cheering and screaming and all, and just what you like to see in a rivalry game. And just such a big crowd. It really was a capacity crowd here at the stadium tonight. Right up the middle is number 32.
Hynoski.
He won't go down. Hynoski keeps the ball all the way up to the Mount Carmel 40-yard line, so he gets it back just about to the original line of scrimmage. Should bring up a 3rd down, or is it 2nd down? I lost count. Second down. Bring down a 2nd down and just about 9 for the first down. So a nice 7-yard pickup that time from Big Red.
Missed number 77 in that time, making a nice block in the center line, Joe Tomkavich. We got so many kids going in and out, it's a little tough to keep up.
Right up the middle is the lead back. And that's number 45 for the Red Tornadoes.
Number 61, Jared Owens in there.
That's Lashinsky for the Red Tornadoes on the carry. Clock continues to tick away on the Indians here. Now, if nothing else, it was good to look across the sidelines there and see some familiar faces. I mean, my goodness, Carm's not only is I know him a long time, he's my neighbor for a long time. Lived 3 or 4 houses up the street from him, so he goes pretty far back with me too. He was heading over to number 83 is where he was trying to head, Scott Hutko, but it got over his head and a little bit to the side, so he'll go incomplete. And he'll set the ball back down. And the clock, even on the incompletion, is running as we had stated before. As time continues to tick away here, not many things will stop that clock right now. We look down the field and we're looking around here. I'm trying to see, for the most part, only number 29, and that's Damian Buggy so far with any kind of real injury that we saw. And I'm looking for him now. I don't see him. Dara gets the kickoff and he kicks it to number 30 for the Indians, and he goes right up the sideline. There's a flag down on the play. Number 30's Cook for the Indians. But a flag goes down right around the 43-yard line, and we'll see what comes of that. Normally that would be on the receiving team, so we'll see what they want to call there.
Well, I went down fairly early, and I don't know whether it was somebody lined off offside when they ran in here. Yeah, they're talking to Shamokin. They'll decline this one. Number 64 in at the defensive end spot, Jared Smith.
The Indians with an entire new team now. I mean, everybody, including a quarterback, which is now for the Indians, number 19, it looks like, coming out of there, and that is Dustin Martin for quarterbacking for the Indians now. He hands off to Cook. Cook's going to gain maybe a yard on the play. It'll bring up second down and 9 as we see the third quarterback of the night here now for the Indians as Coach Carm has completely cleared the bench now, and I expect to see Joe Armstrong suited up before we leave tonight. No offense, Joe.
Well, you know, Carm's giving those kids valuable experience.
Oh, yeah.
And this is what they need. You know, I mean, he's just taking over a new program, and he wants to get everybody in, keep them enthused about what's going on, and give them that time, that playing time.
Martin calls a timeout. Now, Martin, when you take a look at this guy, here's a 6'1", 175-pound sophomore quarterback. He's got the size. That guy, look at him. Yeah, he looks like a quarterback.
When I talked to Coach Bailey, Coach Bailey is down with the freshman squad. He had talked a lot about Martin coming up, Dustin Martin, in the next few years. He thinks that this kid's going to be a good quarterback for Shamokin area.
Well, he certainly looks like one. You know what I mean? He's the prototype looking quarterback. You can see when he stands in that huddle, he's head and shoulders with everybody else as he stands in front of them and gives them the play to call. It's second down and just about 10 to go for the Indians at the 2-minute mark here of the fourth quarter, as Martin's going to take the snap and he's going to go back to pass, and he does. And he was aiming out here. When he gets up, I'll see who that is. That's number 10, and that's Ken Snyder, of course, the birthday boy.
There he is.
The pass for. So brings down a 3rd and 10 now for the Indians.
Yeah, Ken Martin has some nice size to him.
Way over, I believe he was heading for number 28. I'm not sure.
Some good pressure put on by number 64 from that right defensive end, Jared Smith.
Yeah, Jared gave him a good how do you do when he got to him there. Just right now, a minute to go here in the fourth quarter of play before the game's over. It's 4th and 10 for the Indians. The ball sitting on the Mount Carmel area 43-yard line. Ball goes over the right side of the Shamokin offensive line, where the ball carrier number 20 will be stopped at the 35-yard line. 20 is Filarski.
Matt Filarski.
And they'll turn the ball over on downs, as they were not able to pick up the first down. Mount Carmel will take it back over on offense as the clock continues to run here under the mercy rule conditions with 24 seconds remaining. And I believe Mount Carmel will probably have to run, will maybe not have to run a play, will they, or will they? I'm not sure. I guess they want to, but I'm not sure they're going to get it off here. We go under 10 seconds now as Dara tries to get everybody in the right spot. 6, and he's trying to still get everybody in the right spot. 3, 2, 1, and now they're going to be.
It won't matter anyway because
for a penalty.
It'll be a penalty, but as soon as they put the ball down, it's back into play again. So
the coal bucket, ladies and gentlemen, the cheerleaders have made it to the field now, and they got the coal bucket all lined up. It's not going anywhere. It's a short trip back to the high school tonight, as we will retain and have won against the Shamokin Indians for the 5th straight time now. That's the end of the football game, ladies and gentlemen. The final score tonight of this Mount Carmel area, Shamokin area rivalry, the coal bucket rivalry, is Mount Carmel area 46 and the Indians 6, and we will stay tuned here. You watch the camera, you'll see the cheerleaders, and the Shamokin cheerleaders are waiting for their team to come off, I believe, and then we'll have the ceremonial, I guess, retaining of the bucket, of the coal buckets. It's not going to change hands.
And it's the 50th anniversary of this thing.
50th anniversary, ladies and gentlemen, of the coal bucket. Truly one of the great moments in high school football anywhere in this country. We talked about it earlier. It just binds the two communities. It gives the two communities a way to meet each other once a year in the football field. And, of course, we meet them in basketball and wrestling. But it's really just an absolutely great tradition. And there you see it going across the field. And the Mount Carmel area Red Tornado players will hoist it up and do all the things that you do in this great moment in time for them. More importantly, the Mount Carmel Red Tornadoes move to 4-0 on the season. Undefeated, they will retain their state rankings against a AAA school, the Shamokin Indians, who had a tough outing. Really did. It was a tough from the second play of the game when they lost their star running back, Nalawak. Really took them out of sync and made a mess out of their offense.
And defense, because that ended up taking Romanowski in the first half out of their free safety position. He started playing a strong safety position. And Nalawak being it, and he was noted over the last couple of years being noted as a sticker over on that defensive side. And that's the reason why he plays in that strong safety position, because he really put some hits on. And I'm sure somewhere along the line on paper, that was devastating for them. I mean, they really, that hurt their team right at the beginning.
Well, what we would say there, and of course, we truly hope this, we wish him the best of luck. Hopefully this is a one-game thing for him. He's able to recover from it with some physical therapy and stuff and be back. The Shamokin Indians, the road for them does not get any easier. They move on next week, actually this coming Friday, as you see us on a Wednesday. They will play the Marion Catholic Colts. And the Marion Catholic Colts, I guess in the top 10 of Class 2A schools. Once again, they are a formidable opponent, so the Indians need to regroup, need to put this behind them, and they got to gear up and load up for the Colts, and hopefully Nalawak is part of that. On our side of the ball, of course, we lose Buggy. So far, at least, he is in that immobilized cast. We do not know if that is just still precautionary or if he did something, and we'll know that as the week progresses. Certainly at Supper Club tomorrow night, when we get there, we get the injury report. We talk about the players and what has happened to them in the week and who's dinged and who's not. And of course, for us, Wayne, we look down the road and it does not get any better, because next week at this very same spot in the Silver Bowl come the Vikings of Allentown Central Catholic.
Well, I'll tell you what, this game sort of showed what this team needs to do. In that first half there, we were stopped definitely in our rushing game. John had 15 yards. I think Ziegler had 20 yards at the end of the half. And what we had to do is go back. We had to revert back to our passing game. And it's something that, over the last few years, to stay in the game, to pick up some scores, it's something that we're not used to doing. We're more orientated to the run with the halfbacks that we've had over the years. But these kids have definitely, they stepped up and did what they had to do in this offensive line. Again, next week against Allentown, every year we see them, we're just amazed at the number of kids that they put on the field and they suit. And, that does make a big difference again because they platoon teams in and out, specialty teams. There's all new kids going out, offense and defense and so on. And, again, that takes its toll. But I think this game here was a good learning experience for our kids. And I think it's going to pay off going down against Allentown Central Catholic. We got Marion coming up in North Schuylkill.
Schuylkill coming up and Selinsgrove coming up
and
this season.
Selinsgrove.
It's just going to keep on going. And, of course, that's always helped us. The key to it is staying healthy against these big teams.
Right.
Because that's where you get hurt. Even Shamokin area, you could tell the step up there to a AAA team. Shamokin area is going to be a good football team. There's no doubt about that. It was good to see Coach DeFrancesco, Coach Aaronsfield, Coach Dimney come into the stadium again. It was nice to see them over there. We wish them all the luck. We truly do.
Yeah.
As we move on and they move on, if they can get it turned around quick enough, you never know what happens in District 4 for them. So not all lost there. They just need to forget this. And really, in the first half, they played us fairly even statistically. We just had some big plays, and that's what buried them, and they weren't able to recover from it. Our side of the ball, we're clicking on all cylinders. Coach Brennan, I guess, still is going to be a little bit nervous about the problems we have on offense, not executing actually up and down the field with the penalties and the mistakes we make as far as lining up and things like that. They have gotten better, certainly from last week, but still you saw remnants of that, especially at the end of the first half there. When we started to kind of self-destruct.
Yeah, it started last game, and it just seems like it might be the intensity of the game. The first two games we went out against Wyomissing, and there were no problems. Panther Valley, no problems. But now all of a sudden you get into these big pressure games, and these kids know it. They've been around long enough. They know what our schedule is all about. And, you start getting a little bit more pressure put on it. And I think those mistakes do happen during the season. I think more towards the end of the season, we'll probably iron them back out again.
Well, with those thoughts in mind, I remind you very quickly that this is, again, WKMC TV, the broadcasting arm of Mount Carmel Area High School.